And this hangout is live. Thank you very much for showing up for those people that did. At this point in time, no one showed up. And let's be honest, it's no one's fault. I just got home from work. I just set up everything. YouTube doesn't like me doing it like this, that's for sure, because the video isn't even live, even though I am. This is funny to me because YouTube. But the chat is now showing up, and I'm pretty sure pretty soon other people will join me. John the Mamuse has already said that he would come. The dog of Sinop just joined into this conversation. I am pretty sure that the ramblings of nobody will show up. And I am also pretty sure that Fathernut will show up. But hi there, everyone. Hi there, John. You just got in there. And hi there, Sinop.
Yeah, hi.
How you doing?
Hello, the dog. Who's the dog?
I'm just a guy that Futter knows. Futter threw the link at me. Let me know if I'm welcome. If not,
No, it's right. It's just
trundle off into the wilderness.
It's just I'm ignorant, and you might be somebody everyone else knows about, and I'm the only one looking the idiot.
And there is Fathernut, and I'm pretty sure nobody will join up in a second as well. I haven't really sent out any invites because, in all fairness, I just got home from work. Normally, I'm a little bit sooner than this, but so yeah, there you have it.
How dare you work for a living, Modwain?
Yeah.
The Snoopy guy here, he is Doge. He is one of my friends, and I gave him the link.
Yeah, no problem. So you already said.
Oh, okay. Well, he kept trying to fucking join me under my real name. I was like, hell no. I don't want that.
Huh?
I don't tell Google my real name.
I have multiple Gmail accounts.
God damn this. Sorry.
Yeah, you don't want to do that during a stream, mate.
And what
no,
my work,
mate. What did you want to say, mate?
was also a G Suite email.
I didn't hear you.
My work email is also a G Suite email.
Ah, okay.
No. I don't tell the beast my real name.
Well,
But I call them the Evil Empire, not the Beast.
I mean, 666, baby.
Yeah, well, I'm an atheist, so that doesn't count.
I mean, won't you be embarrassed? It's like, oh, shit. Damn it. God, the devil's real.
No, evil's real, but it doesn't take supernatural force, unfortunately. It just takes a bunch of feminists.
yeah.
What's the difference?
Unfortunately, feminists can fuck you up for real.
I don't know.
Yep. The devil is make-believe.
Then why am I addicted to heroin?
Because
The
you're an
devil made me
idiot?
do that.
That's your own.
The devil made me do that.
No,
I'm sorry, but
no,
if your excuse is
do
the
not-
devil made me
I
do
can't
it,
you can't abrogate
explain all the dead cheerleaders in my trunk, sir.
nope. Religion is not an excuse.
No,
Oh.
not even for the sorts of things Jerry Falwell got up to.
Well, I don't know.
Or is it
I
Pat
mean,
Robinson, one of those? They were all supposed to be all up to some kinky shit.
If homosexuality doesn't cause earthquakes, I just don't know where to go now.
It doesn't cause hurricanes or flooding either, apparently.
What about gingivitis?
I don't know. I just saw like this really surprising statistic that says births are caused by unprotected sex.
Really?
Huh?
Yeah,
So STDs, are they connected?
I thought it was just when a man loves a woman, and then when he has that special feeling. This is what my father said. That a child just happens. Is that not how babies happen?
No, it comes from sitting on the toilet seat. Everyone knows that.
Ooh.
I don't know.
Anyway,
had that talk with me.
Today's hangout is going to be a slightly different one. I mean, there is no topic. Now, that's not new. But I thought this is the first hangout for me after Thanksgiving. So Thanksgiving seemed to be...
Look, I'm sorry. Topic. I know we have... Well, Fodder, you're Canadian, aren't you?
Yes.
And the dog, you're Canadian?
I am extremely American, sir. Los Angeles, California.
So no offense.
Hey, you can't say Los Angeles and extremely American.
No offense to the Americans, but why the fuck are we Europeans getting involved in another stupid American habit? Sorry, just had to rant.
You don't want to be thankful for not starving?
We weren't the people in New England. We were back here in Blighty.
But you're not. Remember when you were hungry and things were terrible?
Nope.
It's never happened in Europe.
No. You said you. You said you. And me, I come from a very privileged.
Well, I mean, look, I'm not going to claim that there's been a famine in my family in living memory. But, people on occasion go through privation. And that's something that occurs.
If I was Irish, that would be different. But then they didn't have nice Native Americans to give them food. They just had mean British government letting them starve.
Well, no, if you know the history, actually, the early colonies, most of the problem was that the colonists were a bunch of religious. They were, yes. There was a bunch of religious fundamentalism, and it led to, I think, the first recorded example of collective ownership that turned into a shit show because basically nobody wanted to do anything.
Let me interrupt you there.
Yeah,
it wasn't the first.
No,
we have seen this in history before, but it is basically the idea of socialism and communism.
Yeah, well, I mean, are you guys familiar with Jamestown and the Starving Time?
Yep.
Yeah,
but they weren't the first.
No, I mean, there's always, but it was what was going on in the colonies. It led to starvation, and it's where the line, or at least they quoted a line out of the Bible, I think, ultimately to pull them out of it.
He who does not work does not eat.
Yep, exactly.
Hey,
exactly.
You know what? If they were not the first, why the hell do they matter?
They don't. It's because the Americans think they're the center of the universe.
Oh, no, we're the center of our own universe.
Which was my point. Anyway.
John, everyone is the center of their own universe.
I'm joking.
I know you are.
And
I'm not offended.
But can I just say, Thanksgiving is an even more important lesson that every good deed, no good deed goes unpunished.
Well, no, as I was saying, it's not that the Native Americans, even though they're held out as being a titular element of the whole thing, were not really the issue. In fact, if anything, one of the things that led to the problem in Jamestown was that they were assuming the Native Americans would be there. They'd be able to trade with them for food, and they just fucked off at some point. And they're like, wait a minute, it's the winter. Where are these people who are supposed to be buying food from? They're all gone.
And yet Jamestown, that's the one that was in, that had the battle in the War of Independence. So it's on the sea. So
it is on the sea.
Fish.
Yep.
How incompetent were these people?
Incredibly
we get hit by ship.
Very.
We're starving, even though the sea's just there and it's full of cod.
Oh, yeah. Another one that's pretty amazing is I don't think this was Jamestown. It might have been, but one of the early colonies, the nobility that ultimately were arranging these colonial ventures decided, you know, why don't we do things better? Just don't invite the peasants. You know, we'll just bring the good people.
Yeah,
and so
no one who knows how to work. You mean?
Exactly. Yeah. So they had perfumers and poets and all kinds of stuff like that, but they didn't have enough farmers, and so it was a problem.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you that's not true.
Really?
Yep. Really?
I thought that they did something like that. I don't know if it was literally in Jamestown. It was one of the early colonies.
Nope. In the early colonies, they did have all sorts of people. The problem wasn't that they didn't have the right people. The problem was that they didn't feel the need to work harder because someone said, let's all share in what we do.
Wait, are you saying there was socialism involved?
No, communism.
No, actually communism.
Yeah, it was like a Christian, Protestant Christian communism thing. But yeah.
I'm sorry, but where do you think communism is based on?
No, I get it. I'm well familiar with the history of it. You know, I mean, I know all about Harmonyville and all that jazz. Yeah, I know the history.
Go back into the Bible. Go back into the Talmud.
I don't know.
Go there.
Jesus was having people fish.
Yeah, well, no, he gave them free food.
He gave
Give them free food.
And he didn't even have food to start with. He just magicked it up.
That is awesome.
So it's easy to be a socialistic country if all the needs are provided for. But yeah, if those needs are not provided for, ta-da, socialism fails. This is not the topic of the stream, though. I don't mind going there. Don't get me wrong.
No, I mean, I just think it's a good topic on if you want to talk about the American holiday of Thanksgiving. But
yeah, but I don't care about the American holiday Thanksgiving.
Okay.
It is more about Thanksgiving, or rather, having a reason to give thanks.
Yep.
Do Europeans even have a Thanksgiving?
No.
Hell no, we were a lot smarter than that.
And this is what I was complaining about.
But at the same time,
it's a beautiful holiday. Why would you be upset by that, John?
I'm not upset at you having Thanksgiving. I am upset at its encroachment into Europe when we don't have Thanksgiving because we've got nothing to be fucking thankful about. Thanks to our stupid, crazy-ass governments.
That's not true. That's not true.
But they haven't killed us yet, John. Killed us yet.
Look, if I want to go on a totally non-serious rant, fake outrage.
Yeah.
Hey, John.
And actually, Davey, you make... Sorry, I'm going to respond to Davey.
Fight with family.
1 second, guys. I'm going to respond to Davey in the chat.
If you'd met my family for the night, you would understand my outrage at the idea of Thanksgiving.
Let's give the people in the chat a little bit of acknowledgement, shall we?
Yes.
It's important too. They are nice. They always show up. And this is what Davey says, and I think he's probably correct. Communism probably started the moment humans started...
No, that's not true. Communism was a fundamental state of the hunter-gatherer before we lived in settlement.
Was it?
Yeah, because the whole point about the band was everything was done together. You hunted together, you foraged together, you ate together. Survival was a group thing.
Yeah, but you had social capital.
Yeah, but the point was...
fair point. Yeah, fair point.
It's the whole concept of ownership comes from settlement.
True that.
So before settlement, all you had was sharing.
Well, yeah, but there was social capital. So, like, the guy that brought back the bison meat or something would get more vagina than the guy that basically stared at rocks and was sad.
Yeah, but you didn't have people who stared at rocks and were sad because the group couldn't support them.
Yeah, well, they'd hit him over the head at some point with another rock.
Nope.
Or refuse to give him any food. If he just sat there being sad all the time, they wouldn't feed him.
No, I mean, life was tough. Everyone who actually managed to make it to adulthood or even middling childhood would work their asses off because that's what people did.
Yeah. I mean, the only people that would be getting supported would be pregnant women and the elderly. And the elderly, they would be people in good standing in their society that had contributed all their lives. And, and now they've entered their dotage. Will be around maybe
40.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Yeah, and even then, most people wouldn't even make it that far.
I mean, until 200 years ago, most people didn't make it to 10.
Yeah.
Well,
10 was basically 10 was basically the turnover point. If you reach that age, you could live till 60 because people died of old age roughly at the same time as we do.
Mm-hmm.
But the average age was pretty low because most people didn't reach 10.
Yeah.
And that's indeed till a few hundred years ago.
Yeah. And now everyone's lactose intolerant and has nut allergies.
Shut up! I'm lactose intolerant.
Well, to be
You
fair,
disgust
half
me,
of
butter.
a majority of the world's population is genetically lactose intolerant, so
Yep.
it's not exactly.
It's not. I mean, being able to consume lactose is the exception, not the rule.
Well, all I'm saying is you have people who are like allergic to everything now.
Oh yeah.
In the traditional context, that would not be one of the survivors.
No, I mean, but the point is I wouldn't have been because I am short-sighted, uncoordinated. I've got one leg shorter than the other. I've got shitty lungs, and have absolutely none of the attributes of a hunter-gatherer. So if I'd made it to adulthood, I'd have been no good at it.
Oh,
Well,
the Lilliputians. I've got nothing wrong with me. What's wrong with you guys?
No. I'm just saying that humanity has had a lot of evolutionary pressure reduced once we actually settled and were able to produce more food than we needed to produce surpluses.
Sure.
And so what we see now with a lot of people is non-suitable biology in terms of what our ancestors would have been, who'd have all been very, they'd have all been what we would consider alpha males now.
Yeah.
Because only those people would have made it.
But in the 41st millennium, we'll be superhumans.
That would be like on Star Trek with those giant heads.
So that'll be pretty cool.
in all fairness, if we're going to continue on the route that we have moved into, I don't think we will have superhumans.
Oh, but the Chinese told me that they're genetically engineering people.
The what?
The Chinese. There's that guy out of China who was saying he was making designer babies.
Yeah, they made one baby that's HIV resistant.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, if your superpower is going to be fuck everyone you see, then that might be useful. But in all other cases, I don't really see how this will make a superhuman race.
No, I mean, the first thing is HIV resistance. The second thing is the ability to spit spider silk out of your mouth and swing around from trees. I think.
Yeah, it's not really the same thing.
Really?
Not really sure, but I have the feeling that the difference is a little bit bigger than just me saying that they're not the same.
I don't know.
Has anyone seen the film Gattaca?
I have.
No, I want to.
Because that's all about this.
Yes.
And the way they present it there actually makes perfect sense, because you just get rid of the shit like bad eyesight and things like that. But you don't. Otherwise, you're just people.
Sure. I mean, that's what I tell everybody. But I'm actually engineering my children to spit spider silk. But we'll keep it secret.
Yeah.
Copycat.
Well, let's say you are crazy rich. I mean, why wouldn't you, right? Why wouldn't you modify your kids to be a little better if you could? If you had,
turn them into cockroaches, because they're the only things that are going to survive.
No.
Why is super intelligent cockroaches with telekinetic powers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about the telekinetic.
No, the reason why is because
they have Jedi mind powers.
California, and you have to feel guilty for everything you do, so you have to teach your kids to feel guilty.
We're really good at feeling guilty. I don't think you know how good we are at that. See, that's the flip side of it. See, we're proud of how guilty we are. You're good Catholics. You are good Catholics. Yep. No, it's what you get when you kill God, is that they just make God all over again. That's what happened. There you go. Well, I mean, to be fair, you have a large Hispanic population. They tend to be Catholic. That's not who the progressives are. Progressives are not the Hispanic Catholics. They're typically ex-Protestant Caucasians, sir. Oh yeah, and in fact, there was an article that did a demographic study of progressives, and apparently they are like 97% white and wealthy. Yeah. And well, I don't know if I go wealthy, but I mean, yeah. No. Well, affluent. They are. Not poor. Okay. I mean, American. Yeah. But here's the thing, right? Richer than some guy walking around in Africa. So I thought of doing a ponage video
demanding that they improve their representation.
Yeah.
Because they're the people always demanding, oh, there aren't enough black gays, whatever, and they're so white, so wealthy.
Yeah.
Like, progressives, fix yourselves.
Yeah, but there's a reason why Protestants on average are wealthy. There's a reason why most white people in Europe and in America are wealthy.
Communism.
It's no.
Exploitation.
No.
I know.
Don't have children out of wedlock. Finish your school and get a job.
Well, there's also a Protestant work ethic.
Hold up. I'm going to interrupt here a little off tangent. So I work with a fellow sales rep. He has a non-binary child.
Oh my God, the poor sod.
And I had to try to explain him my personal view on the collapse of the Western world. Although it hasn't happened yet, it is happening. And that is the collapse of the nuclear family.
It's part of it.
He got offended because I said that the collapse of the nuclear family was the reason for most of our problems.
True.
I think it's more complex than that. I think the collapse of the nuclear family is another symptom of our problems. I don't think it is the cause.
It's not the cause. It's one of the symptoms. That is true too. But one could claim that if the nuclear family wouldn't collapse, the problems would be less, which is also true. But then you have to look at why is the nuclear family collapsing.
Exactly, and that was my point. It's like,
no, I agree. I totally agree.
You know, it's what are the forces causing the changes, and unfortunately, the conclusions I come across aren't exactly encouraging. Well,
what do you mean?
Well, because basically our societies are the victims of our own success. Mousetopia and all that.
True that. I didn't know, by the way. No, and people keep misunderstanding the message of a Mousetopia. And I don't understand why people keep misunderstanding it, because it doesn't get much clearer than your family gets fucked up, your children get fucked up, and eventually society collapses.
And if you don't have enough challenges for people and life is too easy, society gets fucked up.
Yeah. But that's the message of Mousetopia.
Well, John.
And then we see people claiming to be transgender. Okay. I'm not surprised.
John, in your opinion, what was the collapse of the nuclear family?
Well, you've got a... if you look back to the early 19th century, so somebody made a very good point. He's somebody who's founding, I think he's Austrian, a men's political party, and he was saying he thinks the reason feminism started in the first half of the 19th century was there's a natural hypergamy amongst women. And this hypergamy seeks out the best men. If you have a growing middle class, that becomes impossible to do. And his argument, and I'm not saying it's correct, but his argument was feminism was a way to reduce men back to a top 20%. And they didn't really care how, but somehow. And
it's possible.
And, okay, so while I think that's not the whole story of feminism, it does speak to a greater problem. If everyone can do well, and you know, people will say, "Oh, they're on welfare, so they're lazy," but that's only the visible part of the idle rich are just as bad. It's just that we don't fund them out of the public purse; they live off the ill-gotten gains of their ancestors. But it's the same fundamental problem. It's just that when, you know, and so there are people who, no matter what, will work hard and strive. And there are a lot of people who will sort of like tootle along. And then there's some people who will take an easy ride if they can. And if you have a wealthy society, that size grows and becomes a burden.
And I'm going to respond to the chat once again. Anir Tak, you're correct. Welfare is a very large part of it. And we've always seen in history, there have been several societies in the past that tried to create welfare for its citizens. And in the end, it always backfired.
Actually, I will comment on that one. Because I thought that's where John was going to go with it.
Well, I did mention that. But I said it's not only those on welfare, because
you mentioned it. That wasn't.
But I'm not.
I don't know. I didn't
the people on welfare because they are merely responding logically to their situation. The problem is how to avoid deprivation in an immensely wealthy society without disincentivizing those recipients. And it's a fundamentally difficult problem. And we all know politicians do not like difficult problems.
But again, and that's when I point out at Moustopia. As soon as governments try to fix everything and make sure that people have an easy life, life breaks down. And this is something we have seen in history before. Because let's be honest, Europe isn't the first welfare state. And to give you a small example, do you know how much taxes the American people paid at the end of the 19th century?
Very little. But I was going to actually comment on the whole welfare comment before it gets lost in semantics. Is, welfare, in my opinion, welfare isn't all bad. Welfare abusers are all bad.
Yeah, but
I think where welfare really discriminated and helped collapse the nuclear family was what I would call welfare discrimination. It is all of a sudden, you can't be poor if you're a family. You can only be a poor single person.
Yeah. Because there was that law Lyndon Johnson introduced in the 60s where single mothers were effectively encouraged to kick the fathers out of the house in order to receive the benefit.
Yeah, and I'm not going to go as far as saying, hey, our government always encouraged mothers and fathers. No, this is a big plan. What I'm thinking is, you know what, even me, I would be classified as, let's say, MRA, but I still have placed my heart for a single mom because,
well, being an MRA doesn't mean you don't, all it means is you care also for men's rights in a society that doesn't.
Well, I believe in equal rights.
That's what I'm saying. MRA is essentially an egalitarian.
Yes and no.
No. It can't be yes and no. Either you believe that and you can explain it, or you don't believe that and you can explain it. But you can't say yes and no, because yes and no is basically saying, well, it suits me to agree with you, but I really don't.
All right, fine. I'll go a little bit more in depth on where I come from. And that is, I would also meet the stereotypical definition of a feminist. But the thing is, I agree that everybody deserves the same rights.
I'm sorry, you cannot reach the stereotypical definition of feminist, because there is one major problem you cannot solve.
What's that?
You're a man.
But we have Justin Trudeau.
Yes, you post.
Yep.
We've got to
and trust me, all the virtue signaling he has been doing, he isn't a feminist. Hell,
no,
he abuses women.
He got in trouble for like bumping into a woman in your
No. Bumping into a woman. No. It wasn't something inauspicious to that. It was an action.
I see.
Bumping into a woman is you're both running and you bump into each other, sorry, and you move on.
Yeah.
No,
He picked her up and body slammed her.
Who's static. If you don't look where you're going.
Yeah, that's bumping into people. That's not what he did.
He body slammed her? What did he do?
Well,
no,
actually,
he elbowed her in the tit and told her to go back to her seat.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that doesn't constitute. Oops.
Okay.
No, where I say, because the stereotypical definition of feminism is essentially egalitarianism. Everybody is equal. And I believe everybody deserves the equal rights. The things that I advocate against would be, hey, where are the men? How come 87% of all contested court cases go to the mother? That seems a little skewed in my opinion. 2, why do we have double standards on firefighters, police, and military between men and women?
Okay.
Because
Name me one of the double standards.
It's if you have a penis or a vagina. I just want to know that you can carry my unconscious ass out of my house.
One double standard when it comes to firemen.
They have to do less push-ups, less sit-ups, carry less weight, and run less distance.
It's a double standard in favor of the woman.
In favor of the women.
Ah, okay. So we're not talking about equality then.
No, I disagree with those double standards in any context. It's the same as me. You know what? My job position right now, we are actually at, I think the last time I checked in 2017 standards, is 47% men and 53% women in my job.
Oh, that's possible.
And you know what? I actually think that's a really good standard to have in my job.
In my job, it's about 10% men. Probably even less than 10%, to be honest.
But look at your job. Does the average man fit that career profile?
You're breaking up, mate. It's very difficult to hear what you're saying. What did you say?
Does the average man fit that career profile?
Probably not.
What's an average man? That's the problem.
Fair point.
Well, think of a man.
No, because men come in all shapes, sizes, experiences, lives, and everything. There is no such thing as an average anyone.
In all fairness, I consider myself a man, and I'm pretty damn alpha in certain ways as well. I'm not an average man, though. And I'm still doing this job.
No one's an average. That's my point. It's you only get an average when you get enough people together and some, and produce a mean of all the characteristics. But the point is none of the individual is that.
True that. So, yeah. Can a woman do every job a man can? No. Can a man do every job a woman can? No. Why is it a problem when women can't do it, but not a problem when men can't do it?
Well, what always kills me with that is there's only certain jobs that they want to do, and often they don't actually even want to do the job. So,
the ones advocating for it haven't chosen to do the job. They advocate for other people. It's always other people.
Well, yeah, but if you were to give them the job, they wouldn't want to do it. That's
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That the feminists are professional advocates. They're not professional doers.
Sure. Well, yeah, and even want to get in,
might give them some respect.
So there's like a whole bunch of women that get into, say, programming or something, right? And the washout rate for women in that job is really high because you're kind of by yourself most of the time. You're arguing with the compiler, and a lot of women, they get thrown into that position, and they're like, I would rather do anything else for the rest of my life than sit here and stare at the industry.
The women I knew in IT, and there's been a few over the decades, is they all did just fine because they were the kind of women who were suited for it. there were far fewer proportionally than men. But then we could say the opposite about nursing. But it's the reason I've come to this view, right? So there's something someone described to me as the apex fallacy. And the problem is as I mentioned earlier, women are hypergamous. For them, only 20% of men exist. The rest are invisible. The ones who actually do all the work and keep society running, invisible. And so when they say we don't have equality, they're literally only talking about that 20% that they're interested in. The CEOs and the high earners and the politicians and what have you. And so when they you say, oh, but they're not interested in these other jobs, that's because literally in their mind they don't exist.
Yeah, I mean, there is a fixation on only those top jobs, and it is odd that they'll do so you get the whole thing with the pay gap, where the original one that they were pushing, at least I think this is the original one in the 70s. That one was conflating coal miners.
Okay, I'm going to interrupt you.
Okay.
I'm sorry, because the pay gap thing has been debunked so many times.
Oh yeah. Oh, so you don't even want to
I'm sorry, I wasn't finished yet. I'm really going to say this, and I really hope this is the last we talk about the pay gap. In the Netherlands, 90% of the jobs people have in the Netherlands fall under collective working agreements. That means that everyone who's doing job A will have a salary based from, let's say, 1,000 to 1,500 euro. And the difference between it's not even 1,000 and 1,500, but let's say 1,000. The difference between 1,000 and 1,500 is how long have you been doing that job. You start at 1,000, and after 12 years, you make 1,500. It's less than 1,500. It's probably somewhere around 1,200, but let's say 1,500. Yeah.
Okay, Modwain.
This is true for 90% of the jobs in the Netherlands. So we know that every man and every woman in the Netherlands that falls within that 90% follows the same rules when it comes to the salary they are getting. And still they are talking about a pay gap in the Netherlands. Yeah. I'm sorry. Where is that pay gap coming from? It's coming out of their arse. So
no, I know.
I'm not even...
right. Hey, Modwain, man. I wasn't advancing.
No, I know, but we are giving that whole pay gap thing way too much attention.
Oh no, I think we're giving it not enough attention. Because the thing is, it's so embarrassingly stupid that if you want to debunk their bullshit, you don't stop talking about their mistake. It's a mistake. It's indefensible logically.
It's not even a mistake, because a mistake means that they do it on by accident.
No. When I say a mistake, I mean a political mistake.
It's a fucking lie.
I see it as a strategic error.
There is another aspect to the pay gap as well, which is, and I've been trying to push this for a couple of years. Every time anyone mentions a pay gap, just say, and where does the spending gap come from? No, I mean, it's a serious point, because they go on about how women earn less and yet they spend so much more. How does that happen? Yeah. Because if you actually analyze how that happens, it makes the whole pay gap into even more nonsense.
Actually, John, this is where we go into a little bit of a conundrum here, because when I was doing my marketing courses, they were talking about what is AKA the pink tax.
Oh, well, that's bollocks too.
Yeah.
I actually did it. I actually went through that study and I looked through their products. It doesn't actually work. No. If you actually check those products on Amazon, this is what I did. I just looked up each one of those products, and I found the equivalent male product. The male product was either the same price or it was often more expensive.
Yeah. It's been debunked also many times. Yeah. And what they do is they cherry pick. They say, oh, here's 3 products where on this occasion the woman's is more expensive. Look, it's a pink tax. And idiots just believe it instead of going in and saying, "Oh, there's 2 razors. I'll go for the cheap one.
Yeah,
I don't care what color it is."
But if I buy the pink one, it's like 50 cents more expensive. Then why the hell are you buying
Yeah,
the
that's
pink
what I'm
one?
saying.
But it isn't though. That's the thing.
No, but even if it was,
different products. They're not comparing a pink product with a blue product. They're comparing frequently a premium pink product with a bargain or economy blue product.
Oh, yeah.
And if you actually compare like to like, so for example, I went on Amazon and I looked up Gillette razors, right? So I found what seemed like a pretty good female pink Gillette razor. And then I looked for a male Gillette razor that appeared to be roughly equivalent. And the male Gillette razors, I could not get them as cheap as I could get the pink Gillette razor. It wasn't possible. And again, I was looking at the number of blade changeouts, the quality of the handle, all that kind of stuff. Insofar as how much time, because if you're dealing with the garbage razors, where you get like 40 of them in a bag for $3, those blue razors are not what the ladies are buying when they buy the 3 pink razors for $5. It's a more premium product. And so if you go and you look for the male razors that are like that, they're generally an additional. You're usually paying between $5 and $12 for that. You're not going to get them cheaper than the female razors.
Now you are twigging the feminist con.
Well,
The world runs on perception; it does not run on facts.
Politics.
If they can get companies to be hyper conscious of the price of their female products, but not give a shit about the prices of the male products, the companies will eventually subsidize the price of the female products with the price of their male products.
Yep.
Well, fine, but joke's on them because
fine.
Why? I'm not going to buy.
That is precisely their point. That's what they're after.
Yeah, but it's going to fail.
Of course, it'll fail.
You're fighting with the market. Have fun.
No, it's not even that they're fighting with the market. They're fighting with themselves.
Yeah.
Because by making male products more expensive, if they could, let's say that they would. Okay, I'm a guy. Yeah. If I need razors, I will buy the razors I need.
Yeah.
If they are cheaper when they're pink, guess what?
Pink.
I'll have pink razors because I don't give a shit.
Sure. Of course you will. No, but on top of that,
the male
women are more inclined to buy the premium product anyway.
Oh, that's true too. There's an old, I think it's a French joke. If you ever need to make up a new tax bill, make a tax bill on beauty and let women themselves decide how much they need to pay.
Yeah. No, yeah. So it's a thing with female products. They often they see it as like treating themselves or something to buy the more expensive one, and it's like no, but it's the same thing. Guys, I think, are more inclined to just go, no, I know what a razor is. I'm not going to pay 4 times what razors normally cost just so I can get the one that has a nicer handle. Who cares what the fucking handle is?
Well, that's the thing that I brought up, and I was actually kind of shunned in my class for, was that's awesome. You want to say that the man and women soap is the same. How about you go out smelling like brute scent? No one is forcing you to smell like flowers.
Yeah.
But it's not even true.
The thing that I was told is, well, that's not the point. Like, well, no, that's entirely.
Yeah.
That company created a product specifically targeted to women. Where does their bottom line fall?
So there are really inexpensive soaps for women, right? Usually when they do this comparison, they don't compare the inexpensive women's soap with the inexpensive man's soap. They compare a middle ground women's soap with the inexpensive male soap. So it's not even apples and apples.
Actually, they did a really interesting episode. It was one of these stupid social things like BuzzFeed or somebody, and they got a bunch of women for a week to use men's products. And they went through meticulously comparing what was in the products and demonstrated for everyone why the man's was cheaper, because they were different ingredients. And then some of the women said, you know what, this is fine. And other women said, no, I prefer my premium products. But they were honest about it. They did not make out that women were paying more for the same thing.
Right.
And
they're not.
this was one of these progressive companies. And so they can do it when they want to.
Sure. Well, yeah, often it's not. What we've seen with these things is it's actually been promoted by like a beauty supply company or some service company. And what they're doing is they're trying to use feminism as a vehicle to drive sales amongst women. You know, so they go to women, they say, hey, ladies, girl power, buy our shit. Yeah, I mean, that's that was literally what happened.
Whole L'Oreal shtick.
Yeah, of course. And why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they?
Oh, thanks to hipsters, we have this thing called Nivea for Men.
Yeah, it pisses me off when they do that.
A lot more expensive than the female products.
Yeah.
But certain of their products work a hell of a lot better.
Yeah. But it's like for like. That's the point. That's what kills with the whole pink tax thing is that they don't do like for like with their statistics.
No. No, as I say, I've heard so many people debunking it, and they'll show one where an article where they've claimed there's a pink tax, and they'll show that the woman's pack of razors has more razors in it than the men's, so no wonder it's more expensive.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's just like you can go through Amazon again, take out like Gillette razors or whatever company you like that offers both male and female products, and find the product line that is equivalent, between the sexes, and do a price comparison. You'll probably find that it doesn't support the narrative.
No, I mean because the researchers are lazy and they've got an agenda. That is, they've already got the answer.
I think the agenda thing is mostly what it is. Yeah. Well, and it's hard to break the agenda. That's the other thing. Is so like, let's say you know what the answer is and you want to say what the right thing is. Do you want to lose your job?
Yeah. Well,
right?
It's a perpetuating cycle, though, isn't it?
Sure.
You know, they employ people of a particular mindset who work with the people of the same mindset, so they all think the same. They probably all sit and talk about the same thing over coffee or whatever.
A lot of them don't, though. That's one of the things. A lot of them know it's bullshit, but they're not going to get caught saying it.
Sorry. Hi, guys. Modwain's female here for a moment.
You're not Modwain's female, young madam. You're your own person.
Oh.
No,
well, very, very happy to meet you, Modwain's female. How you doing?
I said it on purpose because I saw the father nut in the chat, and I remember he referred to me like that once.
Oh my!
Ignoring you. So just don't get back to anyone, okay? Don't.
Butter is frequently extremely drunk.
I like the joke. Modwain's female.
Is he?
Funny.
Well, that's how you introduced yourself.
I don't know.
You said you were Modwain's female. I accept your goddamn pronouns.
Oh no! I never said. You called me that before. Hoping to trigger me or something, and that's why I'm now said that. No, but seriously, I'm Sam. Short story long, and just popping in for mod in a moment. And guys, continue.
How are you feeling anyway?
How did I trigger you?
Wait! Why don't we ask Modwain's female a question here?
Yeah.
So, are you familiar with the whole pink tax controversy?
You mean that apparently I'm paying more for my cosmetics or stuff that are
Yeah.
It's yeah. What about it?
So have you done a price comparison of male products and female products that you feel like, let's say, soaps and razors and stuff?
I've never done that because basically, if there is something I really like to buy, that means that I'm accepting the price. Either it's justified or not, I'm accepting the price and I'm buying it. So I'm not bitching about if it's for a man or for a woman.
I get this almond
and
soap.
And if I think if something isn't worth the price, I just look for a cheaper one that is good enough. And I don't know if it's the razor for a man, then it's a razor for a man.
So what is the so give me an example of one feminine product that you buy, make and model, that you believe that there probably be a male equivalent of. So I'm just going to do a search right now. I'm just curious. Let's do it. Let's do an example.
One more time. Can you repeat the question?
Sure. One product you purchase that you believe that there is a male version of. So if there's a type of soap you like or razor that you like, if you could give the manufacturer and the model of that product, I'd like to look it up on the internet to find out what it costs, and then do that price comparison.
I'm really wrong female to talk about this. I hate shopping.
Really?
I don't know.
You don't know, but there's a thing you really like. So the soap. Do you know what your soap is called?
No. No, I gave it like
soap is called soap.
Damn.
Yes, like no, I tend to go for like
living in Soviet Russia. Come on, you gotta have.
Listen, I tend to go for the as much neutral thing as I can. We have this nice thing called Sanex here, for example, for your washing gel. Yeah, so I wouldn't know the names of it. I just buy the simple thing and go on with my life.
Oh man.
Okay. A woman after my own heart.
I'm sorry.
You're frustrating my ability to autistically dig into data.
Yeah, well, you're in the wrong group of people for that kind of stuff.
Damn. Okay, so razors. I mean, anything? Can you help me out with something? Anything you remember the brand name of that you buy? Nothing.
No, Sanex.
I don't know how to spell that. Would you mind typing that into?
I type it into a stream chat.
S-A-N-X.
There you go.
Ah, thank you. And a little accent. Is that supposed to be there?
No, it's fat fingers.
Okay.
I've never even heard of that.
Well, it's coming up on Amazon.
It's North American.
No, but is that from Soviet Russia? Sanex?
No.
No.
Product.
Okay, so
we don't have such a nice thing in my country.
Oh, it's all your blue jeans and rock and roll. All right, so yeah, so I can see this. It's pulling up on Amazon.
I mean, I've heard of. They have it here in Britain.
I've never seen it, but it is pulling up on Amazon, so I can definitely do my price comparison.
Okay, we just buy it at the local store.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like some pretty no-nonsense deodorant.
Yeah, I meant the washing gel. The other one I have something else, but okay. You know, shower gel.
Okay. Yeah. So the Sanex shower gel dermo protector.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, their stuff kind of all costs the same amount, indifferent to whatever the heck they're doing. So.
Yeah, you know what? It is really stupid because, yeah, it probably does. If you like, I cannot use my husband's shower gels because I cannot use stuff for guys because it just irritates my skin.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't understand what's the problem. I mean, things cost what they cost. So
well, it's the patriarchy.
You have such a range. You can buy.
Ben, if you're a feminist, you will find the problem with everything, and it's all patriarchy.
Women, to all the feminists that now seriously freaking out, you can go to buy a shower gel from €1 or $1 up to, I don't know, even $20 if you go to a very exclusive shop. So, and it all will be for women.
But I want to go to the expensive shop, but pay no more than my boyfriend does for his economy gel.
Yeah. But then think about it because he paid more than.
This is oppression. This is oppression. I'm gonna protest now. Okay, I'm gonna put my bra and my panties on and nothing else. I'm gonna draw on my chest and magic marker.
You've got to burn your bra. I learned that in the early.
Not if I'm doing a slut walk. I don't.
No. Women's lib, burn your bra.
No, I'm gonna put on my lingerie, and then right all over my skin.
No, put on your dungarees and your dot.
No, that's okay. I'm just gonna post images to slut walk, dude. Come on.
Anyway, guys, it was nice to meet you, the dog, and it was nice to see you all again. My lovely husband is back, so I let him sit here.
Absolutely. Pleasure talking to you.
Thank you, and see you another time. Have a good one.
Yep.
Wow.
I've just noticed your full name. The dog of, is that Sinope or Sinope?
It is Sinope, yeah.
Sinope. Is that
yeah. What?
When did you drop the E? It used to be the Doge.
What? No, I never. That was never. No, that was somebody else named me that.
Oh,
yeah, it's people who seemed. I've heard of these people call themselves Doge, which is the ancient leader of Venice, and just phonetically, it's a bit like dog, but nothing to do with dogs.
No. It's the naked philosopher. That's what that is. It's supposed to be Diogenes, the guy who would occasionally pee on people.
So he is a Greek.
He is a Greek, yeah.
For some strange reason, the image has become text.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. That. God damn it. I hate the internet sometimes. I really do.
It's computers.
Now we've
programmed them.
Is it too late to join the fun, by the way? Just no, mate, if you want in. Are you on Twitter or something? I'm sorry, Joss, I didn't realize that. No, Joss is in the chat, and he wants to join in too, and he's welcome, obviously.
By the way, Modwain, you have teaching your female companion very well.
Are you sure that it's that way round? She's not teaching him.
Oh, for fuck. Okay.
I don't know. So, I have talked to both of them on DMs, and I am a lot more afraid of her than him. But I've yet to have a girlfriend that says, I'm Futternut's female companion.
Depends on the context.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, because if you're with somebody everyone your other half knows, that's how you introduce yourself. When my wife was still alive, I'd go, I'm Caroline's husband to all her friends because they know who Caroline is, and therefore they know me in relation to her. And she would go, I'm John's wife, in the opposite direction. It's just
well, I like people to be more than just someone else's partner.
No. But you introduce yourself as, hi, I'm John. I'm Caroline's husband. Therefore, providing context for why the hell you're even talking to them.
Twitch is up, Modwain. What Twitch, mate? I'm sorry, I don't understand what you mean, Juz.
Malachite, I'm not the only one.
Hey?
Huh?
Sorry.
Malachite, I'm not the only one.
I'm trying to work out the context for that.
Oh, Malachite said he wanted to hear me make content or something, and I asked him really why, and he won't give me details. And I've informed him that I can't masturbate unless he gives me more detail.
Yeah, and if you do masturbate as your content, you'll get thrown off YouTube.
No, that's why I would only stream on Pornhub.
Juz, I didn't ask if you had Twitch. I asked if you had Twitter. Not the same thing, mate. And let's try not to do any fapping tonight. At least till after stream.
Hey. Let's talk a little bit early now.
So we've got a... Oh, I'm confused.
How many viewers do we have?
Oh, I see. Duh. Your Diogenes there, but you're the dog of Sinope there.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand. Google confuses me.
Everything confuses me. I'm easily confused. I have to tell people this repeatedly.
I keep lying to these programs, and so every once in a while I get these emails that say, Dave, we've got some information for you. And I'm like, I'm not Dave. Oh, wait a minute. I told you I was Dave, though, didn't I? I have to remember all the lies I tell the internet.
This is why you have things like a password safe, so that you put all the lies in there, and then when you need to check, you just go, oh, for that thing, I'm called that.
Yeah, I think, according to Steam, I live in Guam, if I'm correct. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. No, every time one of these things asks me a question,
I've heard it's nice in the Pacific.
Yeah, I just put it. I'm quite a few services. I am a 75-year-old Alaskan woman, so it's just whatever.
I thought I heard something about you.
Oh.
Nice to meet everybody.
Hey, Jez.
Hi.
Hey. Let's see, you got some new people here. At least I have them.
Welcome to the group. Who are you?
I like your icon. Did you draw that?
No, that's Magic Final Fantasy VII.
You see, if it's to do with gaming,
yes,
I haven't a clue because I've never done gaming in my life, and I'm too old to start.
Oh, that's a lie.
Don't say too old when I'm in the conversation. Thank you.
Well, how old are you?
I have teenage grandkids.
Okay, so we're close.
We should be around the same area, but I'm pretty much up there. I passed my retirement age a few years ago.
Oh, okay, you've got a few years on me, but I've retired, but for other reasons.
Well, Jez, where are you from?
Right now, North Dakota, USA.
How come you sound like you're from Minnesota? You got worse Canadian accent than I do.
I don't know. I haven't been to Canada in 20 years, so.
Hey.
I lived in Boston, Brazil, Argentina. Family is from Norway, and so on, so on. So I speak a few languages. Norwegian's not one of them.
I speak a lot of languages. Most people don't understand me when I do, though.
Join the club.
Modwain.
Sorry?
That's because you speak them all at once.
Yeah, I'll just stick to trying to manage one.
Yep, Dave. Try one at a time, I'll tell you. I'm fluent in 2. Going for a 3rd one. I have to decide what 4th language I want to learn here.
Well, I can speak bullshit in any language.
Must have that diploma right next to you, huh? That's all good. I used to speak mild Russian about 35 years ago, but I don't have to do that anymore since, mother of my daughter left and took her mother with her, so.
To Russia?
Yeah, well, mother of my daughter's Russian. And
everyone's international.
Gotta hate the return policy on those mail order brides.
Never married native, always international. Women look better.
Well, if you're a Yorkshire nationalist like I am, that's true because I don't count Kentish as the same country.
Have you heard about that guy that tried to get his wife deported?
That must have been
pretty good. Yeah, there was a guy in Oregon recently, and I guess he brought some chick in from, I don't know, Mexico or Ecuador or something. Things apparently were not working out. So he decided, and she's apparently in divorce hearings, so she's like trying to take half his shit and everything. And his response to that whole situation is, this bitch just needs to go back to Ecuador. Fuck her. And so he found some member of U.S. immigration, and he offered him, I don't know, like 10 grand or something to juice the paperwork to get this chick deported. And here's the thing that people always screw up with that: 10 grand is not enough. We've had some inflation, okay? It's not enough money. People, you see these people like try to hire like a contract killer for 10 grand. It's not enough money. You're not going to get somebody to kill somebody for 10 grand. You're just going to go.
That depends. I know of people who would do it for 10 large.
Well, then they're going to the wrong biker bar, because what happens is like you get some chick who wants her husband killed, or some guy who wants his wife killed, or whatever. And they always go to some seedy place, and they find some rough characters with too many tattoos. They say, "How about 10 grand? You want to kill my wife?"
And then they hire a cop.
Pretty more guy who immediately goes to the cops.
There are so many ways to deal with the problem without killing the person. What happened to punishment, making them suffer, and you just sit in a corner and laugh at them? I mean, for 10 grand, you could have gone to somewhere and paid somebody to pretend to solicitate her for services and get her arrested on that, and then dirty up her paperwork and then have her deported.
Or you could just hit the bitch in the head.
I don't know. For 10 grand, that sounds a hell. Hold on, 10 grand sounds a hell of a lot better than divorce court.
So, the idea of the stream...
I never knew you knew sociopaths, Mod.
I work in psychiatry. Come on.
No, in this. Most people are nice.
Oh, you say I'm not nice?
The idea of this stream was to talk about things that we are grateful for. So far, we've been bitching on feminism and women.
Yeah, because
I think
communism. No, hang on. We haven't been bitching on women, have we?
Oh,
who criticised women?
I didn't.
No.
Well, okay.
Just feminism, and that is not to be conflated with women.
Just a few bad studies, really.
I didn't see anybody complain about women, but you know.
Hey, smokers.
Hey.
Hey, hi, smokers.
Hello.
Long time no see.
No one has mentioned anything that they are grateful for.
It's been a minute.
Well,
central heating, clean water.
I'm grateful for a lot of
plumbing,
things. You know, can we narrow it down so I can say what I'm grateful for?
Let's just take turns. Let's go around the table.
Okay, something you're grateful for with an R.
With an R?
Yeah.
R.
A radio.
Richard Nixon.
No. Well, in that case, I'm grateful for Reagan. I'm a big Reagan supporter and fan. I voted for him twice.
Yeah,
well, when you get old enough, Mod, all the glories are in the past. Today, just go tut.
True that.
I'm grateful for my grandchildren. It doesn't start with R, but you know.
Damn.
So what are we talking about?
What are we grateful for?
Well, they're relatives, so you could say I'm grateful for my relative grandchildren. As opposed to the non-relative.
Not recognizable one.
Ludicrous is grateful for restitution.
The red children that I keep in my basement.
I'm grateful for retirement.
I'll second that.
See?
My mental health has picked up immensely since I stopped having to work.
Although some of us don't actually retire, we just slow down.
Through all the years when you slow down.
There's a problem.
Sorry?
I'm sorry, what did you say, mate?
I said I'm grateful for Remington because it can take care of my feminism problem.
Remington? Do you mean the gun or the razor?
I guess both work.
But in all fairness, I'm grateful for all you guys. I like to hang out.
Guys, no R's in there, mate.
Yeah, no, you're one of them.
I'm grateful for retards, he says.
John, you are mentioning yourself, mate. Don't blame me for that.
Hey, I'm British. I'm allowed to laugh at myself. It's in our culture.
Well, yeah, you have to.
Because everyone else
I'm
goes, "I wanna get
American.
in that
Our
place."
entire country has turned into anime and cartoons, so we can't help but laugh. It's in the script.
Can we trade you for Trudeau?
Huh?
I'm
So
sorry,
long as-
Canada.
So long as you don't mind him getting Daffy Ducked in the U.S., I guess.
No, trust me.
No,
No
but
one is
funny.
taking Trudeau off. No one is taking Trudeau off of Canada.
Oh, me would
Please?
take him. Huh? Sure.
Do you know if we all did a leader swap, apart from America, because they'll want to keep theirs, but everyone else can do a leader
No,
swap.
no, I'll take your leader.
But
It's fine.
none of them will.
I'll give away my leader.
I'll take Theresa May. That'll be amazing. Can you imagine Theresa May as president of the United States? That'd be incredible. No, seriously,
I
that'd be
mean,
amazing.
in
Can you
all
imagine like
fairness-
that, like the fucking heat that is landing on Donald Trump's face? Imagine that happening to Theresa May. She would turn to water in the first 7 minutes.
Oh, of course.
I'm pretty sure with Theresa May, you will have a civil war a lot faster as well.
There would just be a greasy spot where she was standing about 7 minutes after she showed up. So it's fine. You want to get it's just like plugging in the little fuse that goes in your flashlight into the mainline municipal circuit. It's just gonna go pop.
Actually, Theresa May kind of proves that British politics is the anti-meritocracy.
Yeah.
The shit
No,
rises to the top.
She is a terrible politician. Like I'm not saying that her policy that's a
No, she's
controversial
awful.
thing, but I
And
think
the thing
she's
is-
very bad at being a politician.
Yeah,
Like not
she was awful for years as Home Secretary
right.
before she became leader, and everyone knew she was awful for years.
Yeah, but the only reason she became leader was because that the leader stepped up and said, "Fuck it, I'm done with this."
Yeah, she just looks like middle management that somehow like found her way into the CEO position inexplicably.
She kept falling upwards.
Apparently, I love her necklace. I noticed her necklace recently, and now I can't not see it. She has a chain around her neck. Like if you went to the hardware store and bought a chain, she has one around her neck. Have you guys noticed that? She does.
It's probably platinum or something.
It probably is some silly metal, but it doesn't matter. I mean, it looks ridiculous.
Yeah, it goes with those red shoes or whatever she's wearing at the minute.
She's got a chain around her neck. It's like it's like a serious chain. Like you could haul a trailer with her necklace.
That's a bicycle chain. She just made it shiny.
Look at it. Look, seriously, go on the internet, pull up pictures of Theresa May. You'll see she's got this like chrome-looking necklace thing around her neck, and it's a chain.
It's
Straight
funny
up.
because that looks like the chains that the rappers used to wear in the '90s, but it was gold, and she's wearing something that looks like oxidized or, you know.
Yeah, I think you meant this one, right? Let me see if I can share. Show it up. Share.
It looks like a shiny bicycle chain.
So
look
this
at
is
that.
the
Oh,
one.
crikey! Yeah.
Yeah. It's once you see it, you can't unsee it. You see it every time she does it. It's like, what is that? It's so weird.
It used to be stretching across the Thames, but
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. Here's me, British, and I need two foreigners to tell me about what my
No, I didn't
Prime Minister
notice it.
looks like.
It's like
I didn't know. I didn't
It's
care.
one of it's
I
one of those
looked it up now. I haven't heard of her at all. So
you can't unsee
You're
it.
lucky.
but
Weird.
to speak
That
to
has
speak.
be Photoshop.
No. It's an actual photo. But to speak in her favor of her, she at least had it chromed.
Okay. It could be a rusty chain, I guess.
No, it's
Rusty.
chromed. You can see it's chromed.
Uh-huh.
It's all shiny and stuff.
Oh, it's so
Actually,
weird.
they did this flag for. There's a part of an industrial region in Britain called the Black Country, and it's called that because there used to be a lot of industry and it caused all the soot
Yeah.
to make it black, and it's called Black Country. And they made chains, sorts
Which
of
were
chains you would anchor a ship with,
Right.
huge. And so they released a flag for the Black Country, and it showed a chain. And so, of course, all the social justice retards came out and said slavery.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, because
Even though
but that's the
each
thing though.
link was as big as a person.
But that's the thing, though. If we look at, for example, in the Netherlands, we have this whole Zwarte Pieten discussion because Zwarte Piet is the helper of Sinterklaas, etc., etc., etc. And it must be slavery because he's black.
Yeah.
That's the whole argument. It's not because he's a slave. It's not because he's been forced to do slave
Those
work.
things look like some fucking Sambo, though, dude. Come on.
He's black,
on.
therefore he must be a slave.
Yeah, the red lipstick.
It's the word black. As soon as the word is, oh, look at my nice black three-piece suit. Oh, slaves!
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Bloody social justice idiots.
Yeah. Well, I actually heard somebody complain about the White House being white.
Yeah, indeed.
As if the fact that it's white is somehow also symbolic of a race of people.
Yeah.
It is. It's a sign of slavery.
No, it's a
Because
sign that
white
the Canadians
people-
went and burnt it in 1816. That's what it's a sign of.
Well, yeah, and also white
1812.
paint historically was the cheap paint.
Well, actually, you know why the White House really is white?
Mm.
There was this technique, and I forgot the name of it.
Yeah, it's lime paint.
Sorry?
Lime paint, whitewash.
Yeah.
Whitewash, yeah. But
The British military would run on whitewash.
yeah. What they do, they would build a fortress. They will build it out of wood,
Mhm.
and then they would whitewash it, which made it look sturdier, and people didn't realize it's just a wooden fort. But it also gives more protection against the weather and possible burning. So you didn't build a stone building, you built a wooden building, and you whitewashed it.
And the Americans are still doing that.
And you know why you used whitewash to do that?
Yeah, because the lime.
No, well, yeah, that too. But there's a second reason.
Oh.
Cheap.
It's easier to see when it's crackling.
Ah.
Because if you could do it with anything, you could do it with dirt for all I care, but it's difficult to see when parts are missing. And white is a very because of the color. As soon as something goes wrong, it cracks and it creates shadows, etc., etc., etc. So that's why you use white, because it's easy to see where it gone wrong. I mean, you could do it with brown.
Yeah, but white looks posher.
Well, that too, but that's not the reason. As I said, you could do it with brown, but then it's more difficult to see when parts start breaking.
That's why Buckingham Palace is white, right?
Yeah.
No, it's not.
I know it's not. That's what I'm saying.
Because we built that to stone.
That's a stone building.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
you don't need to whitewash. But there are plenty
exactly.
of castles that are basically wooden castles that have been lined, whitewashed.
Yep.
Hey, everybody.
Yeah.
I got a job here. I got 5 minutes to get.
You got
Thanks for having me on, Modwain. I'll try and come on more often. And tell your female companion, since no one knows who she is, that I'm not ignoring her. I'm just really bad at getting back to people.
That's okay, mate. That's okay. We live in different time zones as well. She knows. She knows.
All
Don't
right.
worry about that.
Oh, we definitely do, because you guys are late as hell over there.
Oh yeah, it's past
31
midnight.
a.m.
Yeah, I figured that much.
Well, I'm on
man,
Middle
time is
American time,
relative.
so it's middle of the day for me.
Yeah, it's 6 o'clock in the afternoon for me.
PST over here, baby.
I just got home from work. Well, no, that's not true. I just got home from work 1.5 hours ago. That's why this stream was set up really fast. And I did enjoy the stream again. I usually enjoy my streams, even if we don't have a topic. I have to admit.
Can I say
So-
they're better without a topic because we just talk shit and it's more fun?
Maybe, but I'm not sure if it's more fun for the people.
It doesn't
Yeah.
matter. We're gonna go off. We're gonna go off anyway.
That's true.
It's supposed to be about Thanksgiving. It didn't happen.
Usually we stay on topic for quite a while, and then
Okay.
we're basically done, and then we go off.
Okay.
True. Well.
Now, come on,
I don't know.
no.
Sometimes you post a topic and we answer it in a minute. And then it's like, what else are we talking about?
Yeah, that's the problem. We kind of all agree with each other on most of the topics. Which
A lot of times somebody needs to go, hey, can we go back to topic for the love of God?
Well, sometimes we do that too.
I
I
mean,
should do that more often.
Last a minute. And then...
Yeah.
Do you remember that stream we did, and it was some topic, and then we've gone off, and someone said, "Can we go back to the topic?" And everyone's going, "No, that's boring." Oh, that was that list of questions you were going through. Do you remember, Bob?
Yeah.
And you're going through that list, and we got off, and someone said, "Should we go back to the list?" And everyone's like, "No, that's boring."
That's boring.
The answer to everyone's the same.
Yeah. It's just, okay. So you're a woman, you feel oppressed, and you don't understand reality.
Oh dear God, did you see Gary Orsom's video responding to that feminist song?
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah,
That was awesome.
Woman.
That was pretty good.
I love that shit.
I missed that. Send me the link later, Smirkus.
Well, probably have it here somewhere. Then again,
yeah, because Dr. Randa McCam also did one.
Oh,
with,
together with
with Tel Feature to the ukulele woman.
Oh, to the ukulele one. Yeah.
That's what I would. Aren't they all ukuleles these days, though?
Hey, if it's a feminist, yes. Or
They kind of give them the ukulele people a bad rap now, man.
Yeah, true.
What do you mean now? You know how the ukulele came to be? The ukulele is nothing more than a mini version of the guitar that prison inmates made so they can continue playing guitar. They couldn't play a guitar because their
Hawaiian instrument.
Inventive.
They didn't know what to do with it, so they named it ukulele.
And necessity is the mother of all invention.
Yeah, well, they want to play guitar. Can't because they got they don't have the space on the hands because of handcuffs. So they made a smaller version so they can play in prison. You got to remember that between the 20s and the early 40s, prisoners were always in handcuffs, even inside the prison. So if they wanted to do something, it had to be in the space time that they had.
And yet it made its way over here to George Formby in an instant.
You can find a ukulele in Japan. So I'm pretty sure their prisoners didn't play that thing. That's an American redneck thing.
Well,
whatever floats your goat.
Whatever floats your goat. What the fuck is that?
I don't know. That's
exactly what it sounded like.
That's something that me and a buddy came up with one day.
Sounds good.
Alternative to whatever floats your boat.
Yeah, well, it doesn't make sense though. What the fuck? Throating a goat. What the hell is that?
Well,
Sticking your
It's a
penis down a goat's
spoonerism.
Yeah, that's where that's why it sounds dirty.
Yeah, or slitting a goat's throat. I mean, you went to the sexual thing, but
sure.
By the way, guys, I have to share this with you. I have to show you this because this is the problem of feminism at this point in time.
Oh.
I'm ready for feminists to reach that level of woke that realize that biological men who identify as women will beat us at everything, and that therefore transgenderism is just the new age form of patriarchy. Fucked if you do, fucked if you don't.
You know, it's funny because I actually do cheer on the TERFs.
Oh, I agree with them. I mean, I'm sorry. I understand being transgender, and I'm not blaming the individual that's transgender, but it's not a good development for a society.
Yeah. If they want to compete in sports, they need to make a transgender division.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. I agree with that. Yep. But no, it's also actually that comment.
It's like that Fallon Fox in MMA. She's like dominating almost every fight. And she was, or she was a man for 30 fucking years.
Yeah. But that argument actually illustrates something else, because those of us who consider feminism a supremacy movement, essentially what they're emitting in a tweet like that is, yes, it's a supremacy movement, and therefore as a way for men to get round it, they just identify as a woman.
Didn't some politician do that not too long ago?
Yeah. Yep. It was, I think it was Australia.
Yes, that's right, yeah.
He identified as a woman just so that he could say his mind. Because otherwise a woman wouldn't allow it. Obviously the woman still didn't allow it, but then he would say, hey, this is transphobic. Which makes absolutely no sense, but it fits the storyline.
Oh, yeah.
I agree with the politician, to be honest.
No, I'm generally in favor of all the transgender stuff, just because it's so irritating to the feminists, and I think it'll also see, like, you take issues like bathrooms, right? So we have sex segregated bathrooms by and large because women don't want to have some dude farting next to them in the stall. But what happens when all the bathrooms go unisex, or effectively they become unisex?
Yeah,
so that's I'm for it all. Just do it.
I understand what you're saying, but I'm going to say that I disagree with that because the problem with transgenderism is that 40% of transgenders commit suicide, at least 40%.
Yeah.
And the problem with that is there is no group out there in the world that commits suicide as much as people with transgenderism.
Yeah, but why is
we
that
shouldn't normalize it. Well, because people die. I don't want them to
people
die.
are going to die anyway. People commit suicide all the time. So I mean, like, statistically, has there been an increase in the number of suicides overall?
Yes. You know what the second biggest. You know what the second biggest group is when it comes to suicide?
Men.
No,
obviously men, but men is too broad.
Men is the biggest group by 4 to 1.
Yeah, but transgenders are still
men.
Men.
If women want to be truly equal to men, they need to take their lives in greater numbers.
Oh, that's true. But if you make groups, so transgenders, postmen, mentally disabled, blah blah blah. The second largest group is military, ex-military, military.
Veterans, yeah.
Veterans. Well, not just veterans.
Numbers are like 30.
What about transsexual?
Sorry, what about transsexuals?
Transsexual veterans.
Well, they've got two things going for them.
They do. Oh, God.
But
are they blowing their own brains out because they're transgender, or are they blowing their brains out because they saw things in the war? We may never know.
But if we look at the suicide numbers for U.S. veterans and U.S. military personnel, it is around 18 to 20%.
Really?
Which
That's
is
a lot
way
higher
too
than
much.
It is really high.
That is a large number.
It's roughly 1 in 5.
Really? I'm going to look that up. That sounds unlikely.
Well, unfortunately, it's
true.
Didn't
we discuss that in a stream that we did?
I thought we did. I think that's the one I was in too.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So, but yeah, no, roughly 1 in 5 ex-military, especially combat military, have a chance of committing suicide. 1 in 5 is
numbers, and it sounds about right. If I calculate all the friends that I had when I left the service officially, to all the friends that are still alive compared to the ones that actually committed suicide, it is about 1 in 5.
And transgenders double that number.
So the military thing is not accurate. I just pulled up the numbers.
The military thing is pretty accurate. I'm sorry.
No. Well, okay. Wikipedia disagrees.
Yeah.
Wikipedia's not.
Well, what is your citation then?
Okay, U.S. Veterans Magazine, to name but one.
Okay, U.S. Veterans. Sorry, I'm trying to be contentious. I'm kind of a stickler for checking out numbers.
I'm trying to figure out what Wikipedia is saying now because I'm curious.
I know from the 5-finger death punch song. It says like around 32 veterans a day.
Yeah, but I mean there are lots of them, and we have millions of people.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, So I mean, 20 out of millions doesn't get you to 1 in 5.
Well, I was calculating through my troop. My troop was 18, and since we officially retired, 4 of them committed suicide. So it's about 1 in 5, but not an exact.
Okay, so this is the confusion. This is the confusion. 18% of all suicides in the United States are veterans.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, but that doesn't mean that 18%.
Experts have estimated. USU CDP deployment psych org.
Right.
Experts have estimated that suicide incidents may be 10 to 15% higher than the official record, and the official record is 10%.
Well, I'm seeing here. Well, okay, so I went to U.S. Veterans Magazine, which is
I know that's the one that
Okay, so I'll post that link so you can see what I'm looking at. And what they're saying is,
I know.
All right, well, hey man,
I'll give you another one.
I'm following the link. So what they're saying is, this gets pretty close to your 20% figure. But what they're saying is that 20% of all suicides are just veterans killing themselves. But that doesn't mean that veterans have a 20%.
No, you're correct. You're correct. That's So according to the World Health Organization, almost 1 people die by suicide every year, which is a global mortality rate of 10 per 100,000. In the United States, someone attempts suicide every 31 seconds, so to a minute. And an average of 1 person dies by suicide every 12 minutes, well, 11 and a bit.
So according to this, they're saying that about 20 U.S. veterans kill themselves every day.
Yeah. An important consideration is that suicides have consistently been underreported for a variety of reasons. Experts have estimated that suicide incidents may be 10 to 15% higher than is officially recorded. The U.S. military reflects an important subset of U.S. population with both shared and unique characteristics when compared to U.S. population. Historically, military suicide rates have been lower than those rates found in the general public. Rising suicide rates among service members and veterans over the past decade have raised public and professional concern. Suicide is the second leading cause of death in the U.S. military.
Right.
According to the calendar year of 2015, the standardized suicide rate was 20 per 100,000, which is double that of the global average. For the selected standardized suicide rate was 20 per 100,000 for the active component. For the selected reserve component, the reservations rate was almost 25 per 100,000, and for the reserves, it was 27 per 100,000. A number of psychological factors are associated with suicide risk. The most common individual stressors identified for both military suicide descendants and military suicide attempts were relationship problem, administrative legal issues, and workplace difficulties. And these are not the main reasons, but they are named the main reason. Other medical conditions that are associated with an increased risk of suicide include traumatic brain injury, chronic pain, and sleep disorders. Mind you, no one mentioned PTSD. These conditions can contribute substantially to increased suicide risks in affected individuals. The most common method for suicide is gunfire.
Yep. Weapon.
Elevated suicide risk has been shown to endure well beyond military service, with veterans carrying a much greater risk for suicide than their civilian counterparts. According to the Office of Suicide Prevention, veterans account approximately for 18% of all adult suicide in the US. This is the same number again. Even though veterans only are 8.5% of the US population.
Yeah, but aren't they also much more likely to be homeless and things like that? So other factors that influence the risk of suicide.
Yeah, but the question is, why are they homeless? And
well, there's a variety of things. Yeah, there's a variety of things going to this, though.
the reasons why they become homeless and the reason why they commit suicide are both connected to other problems they have. And I'm sorry that this article doesn't bring it forth, but PTSD is actually a huge problem. And this is why a lot of ex-military don't.
But there's a big problem with this. So one thing that's changed with the U.S. military is it's increasingly become about the money and the benefits that servicemen get. So U.S. Military personnel prior to the World Wars were actually paid very little. And there really weren't many benefits, although you usually could stay in the service very easily for your entire life. And the nature of the military has changed dramatically since then. So now they have very much an idea that they take somebody in when they're young, they have them for 4 years or something like that, and then they're out. And often the people that go into the military are going in because they don't see themselves having any other opportunities. And so that self-selects people that have certain problems already before they even went out there. And I'm not saying that they don't develop additional problems when they experience the horrors of war, but generally speaking, they're going to have more problems than the general population just because they chose to enter the service in the first place, which is not to say that you're an idiot if you join the military. That's not what I'm saying. But you're more inclined to join the military if you don't see yourself as having other options. And so that there's a self-selection element.
I imagine that's an American cause because other countries don't give you that kind of liberty to choose to join the military.
It varies. Most countries in Europe do.
I didn't have the choice.
I mean, you're not. There's no draft in Australia.
True. Yeah, but the draft in Europe hasn't been gone that long. I think maybe 20 years.
Well, it depends on the country. I mean, we've not had any compulsory military service since the 60s.
True that.
Exactly.
But if we go back to the suicide numbers, yes, you're correct that 18% is the overall number, but 8% of society is part of 18% of the total suicides.
Yeah, no question.
So,
but the self-selection thing all by itself could account for that. Actually, you don't know. It's hard. In the same sense that I got issues with the wage gap and some of the things like that. That statistic is something I want to dig into a bit more.
Yeah, as soon as you flatten a statistic like that, you are obscuring a multitude of other information.
You're oversimplifying certain things, absolutely. But at the same time, I am by stating these facts.
Well, one is.
It's oversimplifying, or it's making it. But at the same time, we know this. We do know that we have a high number of suicide in veterans, especially combat veterans. Yeah, we know this, and we do know what the causes are, and still
nothing's done about it.
No, I'm not even talking about whether there's something being done. It's never enough. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying we shouldn't do more because it's never enough. We should do way more. And still, transgenders have a higher rate of suicide.
Sure, but that's also self-selected. Like, are they killing themselves because society has embraced their transgender stuff, or are they killing themselves because they're mentally unstable and they would do it anyway? Eventually,
they wouldn't do it anyway, but they have become mentally unstable, and this is why there's a problem with the push for transgenderism, because it will destroy the psyche of both boys and girls.
It's only going to destroy the psyche of people that are susceptible, though. I don't think we're all susceptible to this.
We are all susceptible.
Everybody's susceptible to a certain degree.
Don't even doubt whether you're susceptible, yes or no, because
I do got it.
We all are.
I do got it. No, I don't think I'm susceptible.
No? Okay.
No.
How many people do you think, and this is slightly different, but how many people do you think were against the Nazis in Germany?
I don't know.
We now like to think, every single one of us likes to think, well, but if I were alive then, I would have blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
That's not
Hell
how peer
no.
pressure works. That is
Wait a
not how
minute.
peer
If
pressure
I was
works.
alive
Yeah,
at
but
the
I
time,
mean,
I'd
what? I'm
probably
going to get peer
that
pressure
regard as
into
well.
wearing a dress and sucking dick? What are you talking about?
You think it's not happening?
I don't think sexual attraction is that
It's
plastic
not.
to.
Yes, it is. Oh, let me see if I can find that. I hope I can find that article. There's, for example, in the UK, there are schools that actually have a problem because kids are pushing themselves and their classmates into transgenderism.
Sure.
And
Well,
the school
I would do
teachers,
that. I would be the cruel kid who would do that in my school too, particularly the kids I didn't like.
no,
I would.
that's the worst part. It's not the cruel kid doing this to the rest. No, this is themselves whipping themselves up in a frenzy.
Yeah. Except for the vast, overwhelming majority of children are not popping around in dresses or or buying into this stuff. The overwhelming majority of them.
Have you any idea how much it has grown in the last 20 years?
It doesn't matter. It's like you can double something that's one. You can double one, and it's only two.
Yes,
it's a tiny fraction of the population.
It's not double.
I mean, it can go up 100,000 times. It doesn't matter because it was like
No, it does.
4 people.
It does, especially because we now have a
total
society.
number of transgender people. Total number of transgender people.
Okay,
Yeah.
let me see if I can find that number.
I'll look as well. Total number of
you look for that one.
Gender, US. Yeah, no, I'm not trying. I'm not asking the questions to go fuck yourself. Keep that in mind.
I understand.
I'm just a data guy. Okay, identify as transgender in the United States. This is from the William Institute Law, UCLA.edu, and we'll see what this is saying here. So, how many adults? And I'll put the link in. This is just the first thing that came up, so I don't know if this is a good link or not. Here we go. So that came up. Let's see what they have to say.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. So it looks like the concentration is predominantly around the edges of the United States, mostly, whereas the interior has a lower proportion. Let's see, insofar as percent of the population, it's below 1% everywhere except for Washington, D.C., where it's 2.7%.
Yeah, it's less than 1%. It used to be less than a tenth of a than 100th of a percent.
Sure. Yeah, but I don't think it's ever going to be.
Yeah.
I don't think it's ever going to be half or something.
I'm sorry, but you're missing a very important thing here.
All right. Yeah.
It's still less than 1%. I'm going to totally agree with you on that.
Oh, okay.
So yes, it's still less than 1%. It used to be less than 100th of a percent. It's still than 1%. How much of our media, our schools, our laws are filled with transgenderism at this point in time?
Yeah, it's a lot of annoying bullshit, that's for sure.
I'm not saying it's not. I'm 100% against it. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But how much of a push
Loud minority.
Yes. And how much of a push for transgenderism are we seeing now?
I
will be well amazed if by the end of 2020 we will not be up to 4%.
I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, well,
I mean, that's just me.
They never thought it would be close to 1% either.
Well, it's not close to 1%.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's 0.66% in the United States overall.
Yeah, which is more than which is more than 0.5%. So rounding it. When rounding it up,
I mean, come on, it's not even
going from 1/100th of a percent, 0.066. I'm sorry, that's a huge increase.
Who is keeping track of any of these things? Like, what do you think the statistics of gender dysphoria are over the last 1,000 years or something? You have statistics.
Not over the last 1,000 years, just the last
100 years. You don't.
Yeah, you do.
No, you don't. There's no reliable. That's like cancer rates in Siberia. Nobody knows.
No, that's not true. We keep do you know how long? Do you know how long gender? Do you know how long gender dysphoria has been a diagnosis?
That doesn't mean it's been. We've had good statistics on how often it's being tracked, though. because as you pointed out with suicide rates not being accurately tracked in the U.S. military frequency, right? That's true of a lot of things. A lot of things are not tracked very well.
Accurately checked. They're not accurately public.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, even then, it's just a lot of statistics are not tracked very carefully. So I question how good the statistics would be going back in time. It's like when you look at autism numbers, right? That's another one that they like to say, well, autism used to be much less common in the past.
No. Sorry. Autism is my speciality. It's my actual job.
Okay.
We do not see a huge rise in autism. What we are seeing is a better recognition of autism.
Yep. Yeah, that's my point. That's my point. So the thing is that the statistics were tracked differently in the past than they are now, because that the notion that we have a rise, that the impression that there is a rise, is largely due to changes in diagnosis, changes in reporting.
No.
Really?
This is true. This is true for autism up to a certain point, but this is really not true for gender dysphoria, because I can talk you into gender dysphoria. I cannot talk you into autism.
I don't know. Have you ever been to an accounting school?
My friend, I'm a social.
Man, if I put you through the CPA program, you're going to come out autistic. I'll tell you.
I 100% agree with you. That is not the case. I know the joke, but I can 100% agree. Tell you that is. Listen, this is my job. This is what I've been doing. So trust me on autism. I do know a little bit what I'm talking about. Well, a lot of programmers do have autism. I won't deny that.
Well, they have autism to a certain extent, but it's also that when you have a profession that forces you to think a certain way, it has a consequence on your mental processes at a certain point. Like, for example,
it doesn't make you an autist.
What language do you dream in?
Doesn't matter. That's nothing with it.
I'm serious. What language do you dream?
It doesn't matter. I can dream in Dutch. I can dream in English. Hell, I even dreamed in Polish, and I'm crap at Polish.
I've dreamed in Java.
Yeah. So.
I feel sorry for you. Java's horrible.
It is. But you understand. But you get what I'm saying here.
It's the first language I refuse to learn.
Yeah, there's a lot. No, it's awful. But what happens is you'll be hearing an argument sometimes, like somebody's explaining something, and I will sometimes translate what they're saying into code, debug the code, and then translate it back into English.
Okay.
Now, I'm not doing that because I think that's a good idea. I'm doing it because I'm not thinking, I'm not paying attention, and my brain just
you generated new pathways in your brain, because we know that we generate new pathways in the brain all the time.
Yeah.
This is part
nothing
of
wrong with
human.
that.
Well,
nothing.
Right. So what this does to me sometimes is I'll be having an argument with somebody, and I will make the argument back to them, the counter argument, and the syntax of my argument, I will be speaking in English, but the syntax of my argument will be derived from how I solved the problem in code.
So you're only partly there.
Room, huh?
So you need to improve your retranslation back into the human.
See, but that's what I'm telling you. Like, that's a certain kind of brain damage I have, and
call it damage. It's not a damage. You've adapted.
Anyway,
you can call it damage. They called me damage when they locked me up. Yeah.
I'm just saying,
orders, now he's the damaged one. He gets to roam around free. Okay.
Different jobs will condition the way you think. So, politicians,
different belief systems, religions, they all do this.
Yeah, anything you're just doing all the time that you're interacting with, and it just sort of at a certain point it starts to impose itself on your neurology.
Being progressive.
Sure. Being a foaming at the mouth cultist. I get you.
No, I mean there was somebody was. I saw a video today, and they were saying that progressives talk differently to people who they horrible research, because it's all hypothetical. They give people notionally white or notionally black names, and progressives are more likely to make themselves appear stupid when talking to people with a notionally black name, or bigotry or low expectations. And it's because they're racist. Because if you are racist, why would you treat anyone differently? But if you are a racist, you approach people based on your perception of race.
Yep.
And then they're saying they're the non-racist ones because black is white, up is down, and everything else.
Well, that's different from me, because I just approach people with, acknowledge of stupidity.
Yeah,
Black or
that's what
white.
I'm saying, but you treat everyone the same, because why wouldn't you?
Everybody's the same as long as you open your mouth and say something intelligent.
Yeah, but you determine what you think of somebody after you interact, not before.
Well, I can't. Yeah, I can't deduct somebody from what they look.
Yeah, man, that's what I'm saying. But progressives solely determine what someone's going to be like by their immutable characteristics.
That to me demonstrates stupidity already.
Exactly, and that's my point. But that is part of their conditioning.
Yes, I seen it. Trust me, I seen it. I almost punched a man in the airport for that.
I mean, I was coming home from Scotland, so I don't work anyway, so I'm toting a suitcase, right? So I'm clearly not coming home from work, but I happen to get on a commuter train, and this guy looks at me and he goes, "That's an inexplicably expensive T-shirt you're wearing there for the rest of your outfit." And I'm like, "It's like, you rude cunt. What on earth gives you the right to form a judgment of me based on my casual wear, because I'm clearly traveling, and you take exception to the affluent..."
Why didn't you just apologize for not wearing your coat and tails?
Well, no, I just thought, who has the balls on them to talk to a complete stranger like that? So
again, stupidity.
But to come back to the point that I tried to make earlier, you cannot be talked into becoming autistic. There is no job in the world that can make you autistic. Autistic is more than just being
What about all the people that self-diagnose as autistic, even though they're not?
Well,
no.
There you have it. I don't even have to answer it. They self-diagnose even though they are not.
Yeah.
Not.
Well, what if you don't actually have gender dysphoria, but you got talked into it?
It happens a lot, apparently.
Yeah, but that's because gender dysphoria is a thought process. Autism is not.
Well, there's no neurological element to gender dysphoria?
Depends.
There is a small group of people that actually have a neurological and physical component to gender dysphoria. They are by far the minority among the transgender people. Most transgender people do not have a neurological or biological cause. But once you've been talked into it long enough, your brain patterns may change. Again,
so here's something from a Scientific American. I don't know if this
is not the same as with autism, because autism is actually a genetic, deposition. How do you call that? It's inherited. Let me put it like that. English is not my first language. Sorry.
Oh no. And if you have any difficulty understanding anything I'm saying, ask me to rephrase or whatever. I'm very happy to do so.
But I can talk.
Your English is excellent, by the way.
Thank you. I can talk people into any form of dysphoria, and the more people that support me in trying to get this done, the more successful we will be. You cannot push people into autism. I can have the largest group of people trying to do this. It will not happen.
Well, how would you diagnose for autism then? Let's go through that. So, what are the how would you diagnose autism?
There are several.
What are
things.
the phenotypes or whatever?
Can you count 1,000 matches in a nanosecond?
Well, you know, that's mistaking autism with savant.
I'm joking.
Yeah.
He was
but
from Rain Man. That's all.
The main things about people with autism, and mind you, hashtag not all, but there is a social
stigma,
clumsiness to their behavior. By lack of better word, I'm sorry. There's a social clumsiness to their behavior. Hashtag not all. They have problems maintaining their self within social situation. Hashtag not all. They can have problems when interacting with groups. Hashtag not all. This is the problem with autism. Do you have any idea how broad this spectrum is?
Well, yeah. See, that's why I think it would actually be easy to fool the test. So, like, okay, so you have certain cultural cultures where social rules are different. Like, say, Japan, where you have certain, like in Japan, I think they started doing classes to teach Japanese people how to smile, which because they just didn't do it, or they were doing it wrong somehow. But if you've got an entire culture where there's kind of a problem where they don't know how to smile, then it seems like you can socialize in things that would otherwise in another culture be associated with autism. Just into the general population. And you don't call it autism, but the man is not a smile.
It's not just social behavior.
Okay. What else is it?
Autism is a pervasive development disorder. You know what that means?
Sure.
Pervasive.
Well, I want to know.
No, seriously.
What 2 or 3 things someone would have to do for you to say that guy's autistic?
To me?
Yeah.
I can't even put my finger on it. I recognize certain parts.
Don't tell me that you can't. If you can't put your finger on it.
Listen, I can put my finger on it when I see it. No, the thing is, I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm a social therapist, so I don't do diagnose. Yeah. I'm not allowed to do diagnosis.
Well, okay, but see, we're talking about how you would fool the diagnostician, and if you're telling me you're not comfortable even diagnosing, then you can't participate in the process. It's a non-discussion.
It's not that I'm not comfortable, it's that I'm not allowed to. Only doctors are allowed to diagnose.
I'm not asking you to do this as a doctor. I'm asking you to do this as a guy in the industry.
But that's the thing. There are millions of things that can show you being an author.
Yeah, just give me like 3 things. I'm not asking for all of them, just 3.
I gave you several already.
Okay, well, yeah, I gave you the thing with the Japanese people not knowing how to smile.
Yeah,
so that's not autism.
It's not socialism.
No,
That's not an empathy thing. They don't emotionalize anything.
Sure, but the thing is that if you ran into
but that's not true either, because
in another society, they might think that those people were autistic.
Not every autist can't emotionalize. They have problems explaining their emotions, recognizing their emotions, but they still have emotions. Sure. But again, it can be anything. Hell, having a problem going to the toilet could be a marker for autism.
Right. Yeah. Well, we're going for the mild autism, not the like.
There is no such thing as mild autism.
Well, let's say high-functioning autists.
I'm sorry, but they are still not mild autists.
Okay, fine, but high-functioning, like they don't have a problem going to the bathroom. Okay, a high-functioning autist.
They might have
he pays his taxes. He obeys the law. He holds down a job. He may be married and have all kinds of productive relationships with all kinds of people. He's otherwise the rest of society is okay with him, but he still is on the spectrum. So.
Yeah, maybe he could have a problem if someone sits in his chair. He could have OCD-like behavior.
Right. Now OCD. Could I train somebody to have OCD?
You can train someone to pretend to have OCD. You can't train someone to have OCD.
So, like, if from a very small age, if I messed with a little kid and I made something important that really was kind of stupid, you don't think I could condition that kid the rest of his life to just obsessively do that thing?
That's not training, that's conditioning. That's what the military does.
Sure, that's great. But effectively, it's going to be like OCD, though. It's going to look like OCD.
No, then it's going to be OCD.
Right, but I've given it.
That's not training.
Yeah.
Fine,
that's
whatever. The
not
point
saying
is,
that's
I
conditioning.
made it happen to the kid. I put
Yeah,
the child in
okay,
an environmental
that's
situation.
in
the
all
consequences
fairness,
they have now.
all cases, well, nearly all cases of OCD have a development
Right.
issue. So yeah, when kids are being mistreated in a certain way, then that
Mhm.
can cause OCD. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay. So,
But that's
so
not the
okay.
same. It's not the same as autism. Autism is a lot of things. OCD.
So I
is
couldn't abuse a child into giving autistic symptoms.
No.
Appearing as if they were autistic
no,
for abuse.
no.
Really?
I'll tell you
Really?
the thing, Modwain,
You can-
I have 2 nephews. They're autistic. There's no condition for that. They are what they
Well,
are.
No, I'm not saying that your nephews were abused, sir. I'm saying
No.
let's say I was a monster and I was going to abuse some children. Okay, this is a notional situation.
Yeah,
would never
I
do this.
understand what you're saying.
You're saying I couldn't abuse the kids into having autism?
You can
Or
abuse
appearing?
kids. You can cause all sorts of problems for these kids. Autism is not one of them.
Are you saying that? You see, I understand what you're saying insofar as the neurology. But what I'm saying is that if I did this, it might read to the diagnostician as if they do have autism.
But that's something else. Now you're talking about how a diagnostician can give the wrong diagnosis.
Yes.
I'm not going to argue that that's not possible, but
that's all I'm
doesn't
talking
make
about.
it autism.
Yeah. That's all I'm talking about, though.
But then during treatment they will fall through their diagnosis, because then it's quite clear that their diagnosis will be wrong.
Well, I think a lot of times that is what happens. So
No,
like
actually, it's not.
Well, I don't know about that because, see, I come from Los Angeles, right? And,
Okay.
there was the big thing with prescribing various drugs to students, to young children in the United States. Ritalin, Prozac.
and stuff like that, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Terrible.
I agree. Now, the people doing this all have medical degrees. They're all trained in whatever the hell they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And they're passing out these drugs. Now, why are they doing
a crime? To me, it's child abuse.
You know what? Look, I was one of those kids. I was given the drugs.
Yep.
Okay? And I was given the drugs because everybody was given the drugs.
Yep. And it does have an effect.
I didn't laugh. I had no sense of humor for 2 years.
Yep.
That's what Ritalin did to me. My sense of humor was gone for 2 years. Now, me, I'm a pretty gregarious guy. I like a joke, right? But for 2 years of my formative life, I had no sense of humor.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Okay?
It's a fucking crime.
But the point is, these are professionals, right? They've got the medical degrees, and they are diagnosing children with all kinds of stuff. So, every child has ADD, according to these people.
70 to 80% of all ADHD and ADD diagnoses are false.
Exactly. So, but the thing is that this creates a problem for me now, because I given my experience, I don't have a lot of respect for psychological diagnoses. I also don't take very seriously medical degrees in these fields.
I can't blame you.
Right. So that's where I'm coming from. So when I see these guys telling me that everybody's autistic or transgender or whatever, I laugh. Okay, I laugh.
The thing is,
because I don't take their degrees seriously.
I do take them seriously because it's my job. Even though I agree with you, for example, on the ADHD.
I have my experience, right? You agree with my experience. You understand why I can't take
the world is not based on your lived experience. Stop
but keep in mind that there were hundreds of millions of people that were involved in this. This is not one guy.
And it's a fucking crime. I'm not going to defend that.
Okay, well, when you get to hundreds of millions of people, this is not an anecdotal situation.
Well, right? I wouldn't say hundreds of millions, but yeah, way too many.
It was happening across the entire country, sir.
It was happening around the complete Western world, and still, I'm not going to say hundreds of millions.
It was pervasive. So where were their medical ethics? Where were their degrees? All of that, academia should have shut that down. If academia in those divisions is worth anything, and they didn't stop it. So I don't take it. I don't take them seriously. Their entire.
I'm sorry. I'm going to ask you. Are you now complaining about academia? The same academia that is pushing transgenders, that is pushing feminist notions.
Where does your degree come from?
I have no idea. That's the problem with the social
it's an academic
sciences.
degree.
Sorry?
You got your degree from university, right?
I haven't got a university degree, no.
Okay, fine. But the guys that do the diagnosis have university degrees.
In all fairness, I am how do you call this? I am the exception in my work field.
Okay.
I'm one of the few people in this work field that knows what he's doing, and he's doing a great job.
I'm not impugning you.
No, I know, but I didn't get there through the normal education means.
But the credibility of these diagnoses and the institutions and the fields is all based on the academic rigor that it's supposed to be based on. Well, then what? Then why am I listening to quacks?
Because you're conflating things.
Am I?
Yes, you are. Do I agree with you when we're talking about how ADHD is very often a misdiagnosis and it's a crime how often it's given? Yes, I agree. Does that then mean that therefore autism isn't a real diagnosis as well?
I'm not saying that autism or ADHD is real. I'm saying that the doctors are often quacks.
I can agree with you.
Okay, well, if they're quacks, then statistically that changes. When they start diagnosing anything, and I start looking at big statistics, I have to factor, well, how many of the doctors are quacks?
But
because I know some are quacks.
Not to talk that much there, guys. Dog, I have one question among your concern about the doctor being quacks or so on. Did you by any chance factor in the fact that the parents sometimes ask for the doctor to prescribe drugs so they can control their children?
Thank you.
Okay.
It does happen. I just wonder if you factored that into all your research. I'm pretty sure you did a pretty good one.
And there's a second point. And there's a second point that is way more. There's a second point that's way more important.
If doctors are giving false diagnoses on the basis of the parents asking them to, then that also impugns the integrity of those doctors.
But and this is very important.
That doesn't save them from quackdom.
A doctor, a medical doctor, a house physician, can give ADHD diagnoses and ADHD medication.
Yeah.
You need a psychiatrist to get the diagnosis of autism.
Yeah.
It's not in the same ballpark, mate. It really isn't.
Well, yeah, except they're all coming out of the same medical school, aren't they?
Yeah, but a psychiatrist, they basically study twice as long. And there are psychiatrists who will still push the ADHD thing. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to defend psychiatrists because there are bad doctors out there.
I was diagnosed with ADD and prescribed Ritalin as a small child by a psychiatrist.
Which I consider that really wrong, by the way.
I'm sorry, 10 years old.
10 years old, yeah.
Okay. I'm going to always, this is something I always ask. I'm not sure how much you can remember when you were 10 years old. Did you
I remember some things.
Huh? Did you like reading books?
A little bit.
Okay, a little bit. Did you like watching certain cartoons?
I loved cartoons.
I tried to think in what would a 10-year-old like.
I was very big into Legos.
Okay.
A lot of Legos.
How long could you play with your Legos?
All day.
All day is but in a time frame. Would you stay half an hour building and then do something else?
All day.
Then I don't understand how they came to ADD with you. I'm sorry, it's simply not there.
Yeah.
Because if you have ADD, you cannot be focused on a task.
At a time. You start something, you stop, you go do something else, you stop, you go do something else, stop, or you go back and round around. Yeah, I mean, you can do 5 things in a day.
You guys have heard how focused I am in this discussion, right?
No,
right? I lock into one issue and I hold on to it. So I don't have ADD. I'm not arguing that I ever did. What I was frequently very bored in some of my classrooms.
Yeah,
because some of the teachers were terrible.
Well, no, it's not so much that the teachers are terrible. It's that.
Oh, I think they were bad.
No, well, they might have been. But what's way worse is that our current education system is based on girls and not on boys, and boys learn in a different way than girls.
Yeah.
So yeah,
maybe. But it was super boring for me as a little kid. So
I believe you, and I have no problem in accepting and actually defending you in saying that they probably gave you a false diagnosis.
He was a psychiatrist. You know, he in the United States to prescribe that medication. Generally speaking, you do actually have to be a psychiatrist.
No, you can't. How
in the United States, that's usually how it works. I'm telling you.
No, it's not.
Well, I've never met anybody who was prescribed these drugs that was not getting prescribed by a psychologist.
A medical doctor can do this.
Yeah, they can, but they don't.
Oh no, they do. They
do.
It's super rare, dude. Come on.
No, it's not. Unfortunately, it's really not.
Okay, all right. We'll see.
This is something that I've because this is one of my pet peeves. This is something that really pisses me off, and I blame feminism for it because, well, why the hell not? No, actually, that's bullshit. I actually do have a reason why I blame feminism for this, but that's not what I'm going into now. But yeah, no, this is something how in the 60s, roughly in the 60s, people started pushing for. I don't know how to translate this in English, but in Dutch we call it de maakbare maatschappij.
The makeable society.
Makeable society. Well,
literally translated.
Yeah, that's literal, but that's not. It's not a good translation. But I hope you understand what I mean. That people decided that they could manipulate the society into becoming what they wanted to be, and one of the tools for that was to manipulate boys when they were growing up, and that's when the whole ADHD push came. And then the Ritalin stuff started, gender dysphoria started.
They told my mom that I should be on Ritalin when I was 2 years old when we were on Hawaii. And my mom was
fucking
like,
up.
Fuck
you know
that bullshit.
Ritalin is officially not tested for minors. So to me, it's a crime to give it to a kid that's younger than 18 years, for fuck's sake.
Thank God my mom had a brain on her.
Yeah, indeed.
I didn't start trying it until I was, 12 or something.
Yeah, which is still too young in my humble opinion, but there you go.
So bad.
Oh, it is.
Didn't really do a whole lot for me, but yeah. That's because I probably don't have ADHD.
Yeah, it's probably not ADHD. Now, and the thing is, ADHD is a real diagnosis. It actually does.
Oh, that's what I wanted to ask now that I have the floor for a moment. Wasn't it also common in the diagnosis that with ADHD that you can also get hyperfocused? Because that's what I always read on the sheet.
Yeah, not really though. Hyperfocus is a whole diagnosis on itself.
Okay.
And how can you have attention deficit and be hyperfocused? They cancel each other out. You can't be hyperfocused at a certain thing while having an attention.
I didn't say it made sense.
No, but it's the same thing that people with autism have. I don't know the English word for it. Hechtingsstoornis. They have a problem bonding with people, and there is the diagnosis of having this bonding problem, and there is a diagnosis of autism. And I'm sorry, they do not combine. Well, it might seem they combine, but they don't. Because someone with bonding problems actually has a problem. They will fight people they try to bond. Where people with autism might fight people whilst they're still bonding because of the testing of boundaries and trying to get to know the person they are bonding with. So to the layman, it might seem the same, but there's a very different reason to it and a very different way of how it works. So it's mostly, well, that's the thing with diagnosis, I guess. It's mostly a nuanced thing. So I can give you a list of things that fall under the diagnosis for autism. And at the same time, they are not an end-all be-all. It's how do you call it? An amalgamation of a lot of things.
Well, wouldn't you just go with the brain scan? Because autism shows up in a brain scan, doesn't it?
Mostly it shows up, not always.
I thought it always did.
No, unfortunately it doesn't.
Yeah, I thought it did too until my nephews got their scan and it didn't show up. But they were prescribed my oldest nephew at some point was prescribed with Ritalin because they thought he had HDAD, and then
I'll be right back. By the way, guys, sorry, I need to pass
down the
by a
road
bike.
they were autistic. So again, they don't bond very well and other what nuts, but they're kind of there.
Hello all.
Hello.
Hey, Carlos.
What's going
Sorry,
on?
I am late. I was doing stuff.
Yeah, no problem.
At 2 a.m?
Hi, Carlos.
We're here.
It's 12:50 a.m. where I live.
Hi, mate. How are you doing?
How are you? How are you, my dear friend? How are
You've been
you?
drinking.
No, yes, I always drink a little bit.
Have you been drinking? No. Well, yeah.
You're on holiday.
Hello, chat. Hello, Ludicrous. Hello, everyone. I have not been diagnosed by any of fish. I've just caught a little bit of the chat. I'm not. I've never been. How do you say? I think I am autistic.
Self-diagnosed.
No way, my friend. I could not let this pass. I can only stay about 10 minutes because it's almost 1 o'clock and I got to work tomorrow. But fuck it, it doesn't matter. I had to. I've been busy these times. Yesterday I was encoding two videos of the same thing. One with Portuguese speech and the other and high quality video, and I had to do put the Portuguese on the original one, and it took me all because today I had at work I had a fifth year students on the Neolithic and Bronze Age megalithic period, so I had to do that to the children, and they liked it. I think
Sounds interesting.
Yeah. But yeah, I've never been diagnosed as autistic, but I think I am autistic because I exhibit all of the symptoms. I'm introverted. I have problems with relations of people or getting related to people, relating people, and so on. I forget human names, people's names, yet I can. I can cite scientific names. It's weird and shit.
Yeah, but I'm not sure if that's a sign of autism, to be honest.
Yeah.
Hell, I'm crap with names too.
Yeah, but there's that component where you are. I try to be social with you guys. I appear social, and I do with my friends. But when it comes to say authority figures, God damn it, I can't relate to them and so on. There's a barrier there with human relations, normal.
And we're all autists here, mate.
Yeah. Even though I can't find somebody that's higher ranked than I am, so.
But in all fairness, and this is something I do want to say, because we've been talking about autism for quite a while. I've been working with autists for more than 20 years now. Yes, there are autists that really have a problem to amount to anything. But yes, there are also autists that have a university degree. Autism may be the cause of certain problems within their behavior, but at the same time, it's not an end-all and be-all about who they are. I mean, there's way more to a person than, yeah, he's an autist. So,
I might be controversial in saying this, but because we haven't really established what autism is, I've been following it. I'm not an authority on it, so it is my humble little opinion. It is completely devoid of probably a lot of facts, because obviously I don't work like you do, Modwain, with autistic children, autistic people, etc. But could it be that we are misdiagnosing autism for other type of problems that there are out there?
Very probably.
It's possible, but in all fairness, from what I've seen, it's unlikely.
I know. That's why I'm not going to push this too much, because, like I said, I think I am autistic from what the literature tells me what an autistic person is. Though the symptoms, I exhibit a lot of this, not all of the symptoms, obviously, but a lot of the symptoms. And for example, God, I can't remember that. See, the boys that are boisterous. God damn it, what's that? What is that? When they're too when they are
hyperactive.
Very hyperactive. Yes, that is it. A hyperactive thing that they are diagnosing, quote unquote, for boys, mostly for boys. The ADHD something.
ADHD. Yeah.
ADHD. Thank you. That's didn't come out. See, I'm autistic. I can't remember things.
Oh shit! If you can't remember things, makes you autistic. I'm screwed.
Obviously, it's the alcohol, but I'll blame it on the alcohol.
Or just the workings of human memory, mate.
It is exactly. ADHD is something that, to me, third wave, no, progressives, because I don't want to be progressive. They diagnose hyperactivity as possibly a form of autism, and they want to cure it. They give them drugs and shit. But
and it's toxic masculinity, don't you know?
Exactly. That non-thing, because there is no such thing as toxic human behavior.
Right. We're all friendly.
No, that's not what you mean.
But that's something else.
I agree.
I agree with Carlos, because it's not so much as it's toxic human behavior, it's human behavior.
It's human behavior, exactly. Yeah. I'm gonna stay 3 more minutes because I gotta get to bed at 1 o'clock in the morning. God damn it! To you,
I like it when you show up, mate. I really do.
The Brits and I are on the correct time zone, but you guys are in the continent.
Well, it was the original, of course.
Yeah, exactly. On the continent are 1 hour ahead, and so I know.
And the Yankees are all over the place.
Oh, the Yankees are.
Yeah. He just started to turn dark, so.
Yeah, we're back on GMT now. We're on proper time.
It's 7 o'clock for me, so.
Oh, you 7 o'clock. Yeah, I know you. 7. That's 5 hours behind. So you are Eastern. You are Eastern. Eastern Standard Time.
Western.
But
Western for you.
No, Western's. Go on. Anyway, I'm going to leave. I just had to come in here and say hello because I've been missing my dear friends.
Yeah, well, I'm glad that you did, mate. It's been too long.
You ought to do your own stream on a Monday, just chatty one, just a chatty one.
I am so depressed. There's so much. I'm totally. I don't even have words to describe it. I've been archiving so much awesome things, but I'm just so depressed about YouTube and shit and that. And
start a Cocoscope. Start a Twitch.
He's got a Twitch. It's a nervous one.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, exactly. You should see my left hand.
Okay. No, me, it's the eye.
And I'm right-handed, by the way. You should see my left hand. Yeah. But yeah, I am now at the moment. I'm just really unpredictable. If I see something that I really want to get out, an archaeology, but I'm
No, I say that you should do chatty streams rather than talking chatter streams.
This is not settled, but I may surprise you guys next month to next year. I have a few things planned, and I.
Damn it! I'm so impatient. I want it now.
I know, right?
Anyway, I'm going to bed. You guys, love you all.
Love you too, Carlos.
Chat. You guys need to subscribe a lot to all of these awesome people because they are the top. Fuck the ones that get those YouTube thingy me bobs. Fuck that. No, they are not the real YouTubers. These guys are the real YouTubers.
I'm not. I'm a fake.
No, you're pure blood YouTuber. Anyway, my dear friends, I've got to go. Thank you all, and see you tomorrow. Or see you next time.
Have a good night,
mate.
See you next time, Carlos. Take care of yourself, buddy.
You guys as well. Cheers, mate.
Cheers, mate. But back to whatever it was we were talking about.
What are we thankful for?
I'm thankful for pies.
Yeah, I like pies, especially meat pies, steak and kidney.
Oh, meat pies. Okay, I can do that.
Like a shepherd's pie?
Not so much. I prefer the pastry ones. Shepherd's pies with potato. It's very weird.
It's a little strange, yes.
They also do fish pie with potato, and I don't like fish, so I don't like that for that reason.
So you're more like a pot pie. You know, meat, a little bit of veggies, a lot of cream inside of a pastry.
No. Just beef and gravy.
Sounds good enough. And a biscuit, I'm in.
It's British food. Pie and chips or mash. And it used to be part of going to the football when I was a kid. You at half time you got a cup of bovril and a meat pie.
Yeah, I'm not much of a red meat eater. I'm more like a fish and shark and snake and alligator.
Yeah, I'm a nothing aquatic eater.
Try a snake, not aquatic.
That's true, but we don't really have them in this country. And I'm sure what we've got are a protected species.
Want me to send some?
Where the hell are you getting snake?
You kidding me? I have anacondas for dinner sometimes.
Anacondas?
Yeah, but what are you doing? Going out in the yard and hitting them with a shovel? What are you doing?
Well, he was in Argentina and Brazil.
Yes, get mine.
But that's what you're doing. You're going out with a shovel, yeah?
No, I call or send a letter to a friend of mine. He packs them and sends them to me.
Okay. So, they're not in like the store.
Or
go down to your local Walmart.
I don't even.
Are you getting anaconda at the local store? They got it packaged. Buy that for the pound.
Yeah, sure.
Well, I'm just trying to. That's an exotic meat. That's all I'm pointing out.
Yeah, they'll sell that at Walmart right next to the white shark.
Yeah,
and the kangaroo.
Exactly.
Where's the anaconda meat right next to the great white shark? All right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's the sort of meat you can only get that stuff if you're going out in the wild and hitting it with a shovel yourself.
Now that's how we started.
It is. There are 7 billion of us now, though.
Yeah, and some of us live in overpopulated Crampsville called England.
Hey.
My meat comes shrimp wrapped in little plastic packages. No.
Yeah. So no steak meat for you. Okay.
Anyway, guys, considering the time, and I did enjoy the talk we had between the dog and the rest of us, which doesn't sound right, but let's call it like that. And we lost Fuddernut somewhere. I haven't even noticed that he gone.
He did mention it.
Yeah, he had to go. He said so.
Yeah, no, I believe it. It's just that I'm now like, hey, what the fuck? Where is he? That's how well I have been paying attention. I'm sorry for that.
It might have been when you nipped off and San was.
Oh, that could have been, yeah, because I needed to pee.
No, he said he said something about tell your significant other something, blah blah blah, and that's when he left.
He wasn't ignoring her, but there's something about.
That's where he left.
He said that a few times already. And no one is worried about him. I mean, we understand. We live in.
He is clearly.
True that. He doesn't have to be. But normally we go on for 2 hours. We are well past that now, so I am going to call it quits. But before I do that, yeah, that's the truth of it.
I just got here.
Yeah, I know, but you're too late. Not my fault. I did send out it. The dog of Sinop. We did have a good discussion.
Yeah.
Whatever. We did have a good discussion on diagnosis, psychiatric stuff, etc., etc. If you want to do this another time, a bit more in depth, I would love to do this because I do think there's plenty of stuff to be said about this.
Okay.
But I don't want to do it solo because then it's just me talking.
Right.
So if you're up to that, we could do that one day.
Well, throw a rock. Do you guys have a Discord or something?
He does.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, if you put a link up to the Discord, then I'll join that and you can throw a rock at me.
We have a Twitter group called Modwain's House of Fun, and we have a Discord server which is
Modwain's House of Fun.
I'm not very original, am I?
Someone claimed you had to be.
And he's not very honest because I don't see the fun.
Well,
I disagree with that. I really enjoy these things. I really do.
I'm joking.
No. This is no longer joking. This is Inquisition stuff. this is why people are burnt on the stake.
Oh man.
I linked the Discord in the Hangout chat thingy, so
I think I've been able to join it.
I'll put it here as well.
Modwain, before you go, when you do these things, I've been trying to, accompany you guys, so when you do it, I can actually join the conversation if I can or not. I checked Discord actually earlier, about a half an hour before you started streaming.
He didn't this week.
I wasn't sure you had anything going on, but there was no notification.
Yeah. No, that wasn't this week. Sorry, I basically came home at 11:15 or something like that, work was a bitch for me, and I set it up. I invited people right at the moment as I set it up. I even went live before people joined in today.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah,
he sent me the link, and he's going, and then it's going, and he's live before I even got to.
But I'd say you do put some notification that I can find out about.
What I did just is today, because I'd heard nothing from Mod, I just sent him a quick message on Discord.
Yeah.
So just saying, are you doing it? Because not every week. So it's like, don't just look there, just send him a quick nudge.
Yeah. I try to send stuff in our House of Fun. We have a Twitter group, House of Fun, as well.
It's just some of us awkward twats aren't on Twitter anymore.
Yeah.
Oh no, yeah. I'm always checking, and all I see is these videos for Strike Force. I'm like, okay, so he doesn't have anything planned, and I left it at that. And then, and I went to have dinner and came back, and your stream was up. I'm like, whoa, what did I miss?
Yeah, I try to make a message in Discord as well. I'm really crap at social media. I'm sorry, guys.
Oh yeah,
join the club. I'm terrible at social media.
Yeah.
But I'll try to go live every Wednesday around, my time 11:30.
Yeah,
God knows what time that is for you guys.
Works late, so
I think me and you are about 6 hours off. So 11 o'clock for you, 5 o'clock for me, something around that.
Well, it's 2 o'clock now, so I have no idea.
It's 7 o'clock for me, so
Yeah, that's 5 hours then. Okay.
And in proper time, it's 1 o'clock.
PST, it's 8 or 9 hours behind us.
I mean, you're 7 hours from me, Smirkers. I know that.
I know.
But anyone want to have some nice last words for the stream?
I'm grateful for bed.
I'm sorry, John. What did you say, mate?
I'm grateful for bed. You said what are we thankful for?
Grateful for bed.
Yeah, I'm grateful for all the friends, pie, and ice cream.
Fair enough.
And chocolate.
And
No, I don't like chocolate.
No, I do. Chocolate pie and ice cream.
No, pumpkin pie and ice cream.
Okay.
Why would you put pumpkin?
Guys, the idea of last words is that you say them and then shut up.
Yes. We do this every goddamn time.
We're very coordinated.
So we're like
It
a quarter
always- it
into a
always
new
takes-
discussion, and then we're like, hey, where we're gonna end.
Yeah, we always start. I'm partly to blame for that, I know.
Anyway, my last words are also in that direction. I'm very thankful for. I always call this our discussion group, and it's been a blast hanging out with all of you for the time that I've met all of you. And I'm very thankful for my mentor Ben, who unlocked my carpenter potential.
Skills. Yeah, definitely. Say hi to him from me again, please.
Yeah, sure.
He's a great dude. He really is. He really is. Dog of Sinop, do you want to say anything before I cut down the stream?
Oh, I mean, it's just the general stuff, you know, happy about family and security and all that kind of stuff. And thus far, we have survived another year. So fingers crossed. You know.
Well put.
And I like to thank everyone, both joining in the chat and in the hangout, because I was kind of hoping to make this a hangout, talking about how great you guys all are. I mean, the guys in the hangout, I like talking. I mean, Dog of Sinop is the first time for me, but I like talking with John. I like talking with Smirkus. I do like talking with Just, even though I haven't seen him for a while. I like talking. Yeah, not going to name every one of you. And the same goes for the people in the chat. Ludicrous, High Impact, Davey. I do like this tight-knit community, if you can call it a community. And I'm grateful for it. I really, every single week I'm like, oh, fuck, I have a new live stream. What am I going to do it about? And every single time I'm happy that I did it.
Even if we don't have a subject, we make something fun out of it.
And it's always fun. I really enjoy this. So I'd like to thank you all. And Dog of Sinop, I would love to do another talk with you or a video or whatever.
Sure.
On the problems.
Well, hey, I joined your Discord. If you ever want to talk to me for Rocket Man, and I'll come by. Happy to shoot the shit any day.
Because there's plenty to talk about, and it's. I mean, I agree with you when you say that there are doctors who are basically idiots. No problem accepting that, because I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
There we have a topic for next week.
There you go.
Well, maybe. Well, I still have two topics. I still have two topics that we were going to address from last week. Where did I put that paper? I can't remember.
Oh, all right, sweet.
But I didn't do them today because I simply don't have time to organize them. Education and the way education is fucking up our kids, and anarchy is a time sort of thing. Anarchy, whether it works or not.
No,
I like very short. There is more to it.
No, there isn't.
Yeah, there is. John.
Why? Because it's retarded.
No.
Stop being obnoxious.
Sorry.
Nasty John. Nasty John. Well, no, but there is something to be said. Not a lot, I admit, but there is something to be said. Anyway, again, thank you all for coming. I really enjoyed the stream. Thank you, Just. It's good to see you again, mate. Obviously,
yeah, good to be back. I'll try to be here more often.
Yeah, you're more than welcome. And for the first time, the Dog of Sinop.
Oh yeah, no, it was my pleasure.
I really enjoyed you having you here, mate. You're always welcome back. I don't know if you have a YouTube channel. If so, you can.
No.
Okay. I wanted to say you can plug it if you want to.
No. I just go and talk shit now and again. That's all I do.
Well, fair point.
So, does any of us do anything different?
Well,
I'm just supporting it.
I'm just about my opinions, and that's all shit. So that's fine.
I click fewer buttons when I do so. So the guys with their own streams, they click more buttons.
And I'm sorry that Alicia didn't show today, because I really like her to hang out as well. And I'm sorry that Square Peg wasn't here. I really enjoyed her, and I really am sorry that Rin wasn't here, because I do enjoy her, and she's underestimated a lot in my humble opinion. Having said all these things, this is when I'm going to click on the button stop.
Bye bye.